It might be snowing where you are. It is 80 degrees where we are. This is St. Petersburg, Florida, and we have some of college football's best seniors. They have a chance now for one more game to prove that they have what it takes to play in the National Football League. It is the 95th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl. It's next on NFL Network.
Hey, stand down, breathe. 1, 2, 3,
Our next step on the path to the draft is on the beach. St. Petersburg, Florida, where we have the first of two college all-star games for you today on NFL Network. This one, the 95th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl. Some of college football's best seniors with one more game to show that they have what it takes. Imagine, if you will, that you had a job interview and it was on TV, and everybody is watching. That is what we have, and we thank you for being here today with us in St. Petersburg. That is Daniel Jeremiah. This is Charles Davis. My name is Andrew Siciliano. Kimberly Jones will join us down on the field shortly. DJ, you say this is leg number one of a Triple Crown.
Yeah, in the spring in scouting, it's really a Triple Crown affair, and the first leg of the Triple Crown is right here, and that's the All-Star Games. The last time these players will get to put on pads and play real football. That'll be followed up by the Combine, and then you'll have their Pro Day. 3 big opportunities for these players to improve their stock. And Charles, all 32 teams were here this week, keeping a close eye on this group.
Yeah, so if it's a Triple Crown, they just broke from the gate, essentially, right? We're not anywhere close to the backstretch, but they're going to get to all of this, get to the Combine, get to their Pro Days before we get to the draft. The path to the draft has definitely begun.
All right, tell me what we're working with, DJ. Give me some names.
Let's look at the quarterback position. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. There's a quarterback, James Morgan from Florida International, that stood out to me during the week, and I enjoyed watching him on tape. You see the numbers there at the bottom of the screen. 6'4", 223 pounds, pocket passer, big arm. Then you go to the receiver position. I think it's a pretty deep group here, and to me, right in there at the top is John Hightower from Boise State. 6'1", 185 pounds, vertical stretch receiver, also a phenomenal returner. Don't get to see many returns today, Charles, but we'll get a chance to see him.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him with the ball in his hands. But how about a guy who's trying to knock the ball out of people's hands, and that's the linebacker, Shaq Quarterman from the University of Miami. 52 games played in college, 52 starts. This guy's got charisma, leadership abilities, as well as he brings thump both in the run game and out in the open field. And the second player I want to talk about is a guy with less experience, playing for a team who played for the national championship, played for Clemson, DeAndre Overton. 5 starts in his career, came straight from the national championship game, got right involved in drills. I can't wait to see him in the red zone, guys, and see him go up and try and catch the football against those defenders.
It's been a short week for the Clemson and the LSU players. They were on the field on Monday. They're back on the field again today for the 95th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl, showing that they have what it takes to play in the National Football League. We have a game, and we could not be more excited. It's next on NFL Network. Here in St. Petersburg, Florida, the 95th East-West Shrine Bowl, and we are thrilled today to have Kimberly Jones with us down on the sideline. Hi, Kim.
Hello, Andrew. Let's talk about these starting quarterbacks. James Morgan of Florida International starts for the East. He grew up in Green Bay. He wore number 4, then he wore number 12, and he says his football philosophy represents the best of Favre and Rodgers. Never be afraid, but take what they give me. And then there's Utah's Tyler Huntley, who starts for the West. He's played football all his life. When he was a baby, his mom laid 4 balls on the floor, a basketball, a baseball, a football. He crawled to the football. By age 3, he was playing flag football, and it was a wrap. He says he hopes beginning today he can show how his hard work is going to pay off.
Whoa, Kim Jones strong out of the gate with some big-time information right there. He crawls to the football, and look where he is today. Kim got that in pregame. How about her?
Love it.
I mean, how lucky are we to be working with her? That is pretty cool.
And lucky to have Ben Steele as his coach today, the Falcons assistant, former Bucs assistant, the head coach on the west side. On the east side, it is Mike Caldwell here, the Bucks middle linebacker coach, and here he is in the locker room.
Like we talked all week, make sure up front, O-line, D-line, get it done. Change the line of scrimmage, get it done. Come out there and set the tone. Let's get ready to go. Skill positions, make your plays. Make your plays. Everybody understand this. It's a great opportunity for you. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Get ready to go. Everybody with me? Yes, hold on. Everybody with me? Yes, sir. Everybody with me? Yes, sir. Let's get this thing done. Break it up. Let's go. Bring it up.
Really enjoyed getting to know both of these coaches, Mike Caldwell and Ben Steele, who actually Steele was here last year as an assistant coach, gets a second chance here, and a chance to work with all these young players, see how they develop throughout the week.
It's a great opportunity, not only for these players, but for these coaches to get a chance to be in roles that are bigger than what they're used to. And we've got a lot of examples of players or coaches that have taken this opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah, it's not just the players who have a chance to get evaluated, it's the coaches as well.
We have Dominic Eberle from Utah State kicking off, and this is Virginia's Joe Reed. As dangerous a kick return man as you will see in college football, he won the Jet Award, best returner in the game. And here we have our quarterback, starting off with a man we mentioned, James Morgan from Florida International. Started at Bowling Green, that ended up here in Florida. After that, looking forward to seeing Kevin Davidson, strong arm, one-year starter from Princeton, and then Tommy Stevens, Mississippi State, before that Penn State. Reed brought it out to the 22-yard line, and he's going to open up with Benny LeMay in the backfield from Charlotte. And a play fake. And a throw on first down. And he airmails Aaron Parker. Let's look at some of our impact players, gentlemen, that we're keeping an eye on here as we start with the East with the football.
Well, you look at impact players. John Runyon was a tackle. Obviously, you recognize the name. You know his dad, the legendary Philadelphia Eagles tackle. John slid inside the guard, had a great week of practice. And Adrian Killens, I believe, is the fastest player on the field today, the 200-meter champ in the state of Florida, and a great player at UCF.
Yeah, and John Pennicini is a terrific inside player and a defensive tackle. And Chris Williamson, a good cover guy from the University of Minnesota.
Got a new back. That's Rico Dowdle, number 35 from South Carolina, 16 career touchdowns. He gets the first carry of the game. And John Houston from USC, the middle linebacker, has the tackle.
And Rico Dowdle, his biggest thing is just showing he can stay healthy. He's just been hurt throughout his career. You know, he had a hernia in 2016, a broken leg in 17, an ankle in 18, a knee in 19. So getting a chance to get out here and show what he can do when he's fully healthy is a big opportunity.
Eli Wolf, the Georgia tight end, lines up slot to the right. His brother Ethan played in this game 2 years ago. It's 3rd and 7. And Morgan throws, and it's Aaron Parker with the catch right by the marker. Let's see where they spot it. Aaron Parker from Rhode Island with that 3rd down catch, and they're going to give him enough for the first.
I will tell you, though, Keith Washington, the corner from University of West Virginia, he made it difficult, didn't he, Daniel? Because Aaron Parker looked like he was about to spin out of that one, able to hold on to the foot and prevent a bigger play downfield. Being able to tackle in the open field is a big deal for all corners. Keith Washington got it done there, even though he gave up the first down.
Parker gets that first down, 3rd and 7. He needs 7, and he gets 7. He led the Colonial in receiving yards the last couple of years. And how about Dowdle with the stiff arm, the punch on Washington?
That was a really nice job inside by Darrell Williams, the center, who's had a great week of practice this week out of Mississippi State. 6'2 and a half, 304 pounds. And watch him once he gets his arms on, gets his hands on you, it's over. Nice job of sealing right there, and then nice job back bouncing it outside, CD.
And they're Dowdle doing his Derrick Henry impersonation. Remember Derrick Henry last week? Doing that to a big-time free safety named Earl Thomas, where he punched him twice in the open field on a big run.
That was after Earl Thomas said he didn't think that the Patriots really wanted to tackle Derrick Henry. Almost had a pick there. Keith Washington had his hands on it, and if he could have had it, he had clear sailing down the sideline.
Michigan transfer had 3 interceptions, almost got his 4th right here. Eyes in the backfield. Read the drop of the quarterback. Once he hits his back foot drive, you know it's coming out. He just got a finish right there.
Notice he never backpedaled. He did exactly what you said. It's what we call cluing technique for the cornerbacks, being able to clue all the way back into the quarterback, know where the receiver is, never took a backpedal, and just broke on the football.
Opening drive of the game, Morgan takes it away from LeMay and throws and completes it to Wolf, the Georgia tight end. His first catch of the day. It's across midfield, and that's good for a gain of 12.
And he's working on Patrick Nelson. Patrick Nelson, very comfortable down in the box, but just allows him to cross his face right here for a big completion. Patrick Nelson, 12 sacks from SMU. We know what he can do at the line of scrimmage. Charles, want to see him cover.
Yeah, and Eli Wolf is a transfer from the University of Tennessee to the University of Georgia, wanted to have a chance to catch more passes. I think he went from 3 catches or 4 catches at Tennessee one year to 13. But don't be fooled by those numbers. He's a pretty decent receiver. He's going to get more opportunities down the road.
His brother had a shot with the Cowboys. Morgan on the play fake will once again find Wolf, and he has all kinds of room. Wolf down the left sideline, inside the red zone. Chris Williamson from Minnesota there with the tackle.
Yeah,
Wolf getting some opportunities.
He certainly is. And Daniel, 5 catches at Tennessee in 2018, 13 here at Georgia. And from what we've seen on these first 2, maybe Jacob Fromm could have found him a few more times.
He's got soft hands. See, all this time I thought he transferred to Georgia because he wanted to win some games.
Hey, boy, our first zinger out of the gate.
Or maybe he knows Charles is here and is trying to show off for the Tennessee guy. Gaining 19 there, back-to-back catches.
But he's a little niftier, I think, than what people expect in the open field and being able to get out and run some routes. Wolf right here, not just an inline blocker.
And we have a second tight end, Giovanni Ricci from UCF there on the right side. Morgan backpedaling, and he is just going to throw it away.
A little pressure there by Raequan Williams coming off the edge, really unblocked. But nice job. Just get rid of the football, throw it away, don't take a sack. You like to get in many real game situations. You're in field goal range at this portion of the field. Just be a smart player, get rid of the football.
So would you say 2 good things happened there? Raequan Williams from Michigan State with the pressure, does a nice job getting in his face, and then Morgan making the nice decision to get rid of the football where it goes out of harm's way.
Absolutely. Good all the way around. Got an eye on Swain down here in the slot as well from Florida. One of the better slot receivers we've seen this week.
Swain's wearing 16. Got a couple of Florida guys at wide receiver. Morgan, there he is. It's Swain, catches it on the sideline, gets the feet down, and that is enough for another first down.
Daniel, was this one of those plays where he wanted to go to short to the back, but he ended up having to go downfield to Swain?
Yeah, he was looking underneath, but it was open right now. He was really late on the throw. It didn't matter because Swain had created so much separation. And when I watch him at Florida, Charles, it's a lot of bubble screens and wheel routes. He's a real quick player.
He looks like an ideal type of a slot candidate for the next level.
Coaches said they really liked how both Florida receivers, Swain and Hammond, were lining up the other guys, really took a leadership role in that room. Ball behind him, it's caught, and that's a touchdown for Jamarcus Bradley, the Ragin' Cajun, into the end zone for our first score of the day.
That was a heck of a catch. Jamarcus Bradley. Here you go, you got crossers right here. Parker from Rhode Island, and then Jamarcus Bradley inside from Louisiana. And the reason I say that's a heck of a catch, that ball's supposed to be out in front of him a little bit more, right? That's on his back hip in traffic, hauls it in. Really nice start here for this squad.
We've done all-star games before. It took a little while to get that first touchdown. We might have a fun game on our hands today, boys.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
That's one of 2 Raging Cajuns in this game. Got an offensive lineman that people are going to get introduced to later on.
Oh, no doubt.
Wyoming's Cooper Roth hits the extra point, and the East marches down the field. 10 plays, 77 yards. How about that for some offense to open up the 95th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl? And we're off.
These days,
and all week, Al, the entire week here at the East-West Shrine Bowl is a job interview. What kind of resume can you put together? Jamarcus Bradley, James Morgan did well in that opening drive. Bradley had 2 touchdowns in the Lending Tree Bowl there for Louisiana, and he has one here as well. No kickoffs other than the opening kickoff in this game, so Tyler Huntley and the West will open things up from the 25-yard line. And Huntley actually hit his man Jordan McCray in the hands, but he could not hang on on the first play from scrimmage. Tyler Huntley, first team Pac-12, second to the FBS in completion percentage, led Utah gentlemen to an 11-3 season.
Yeah, and he shows why he's so accurate. Find the soft corner, take the easy throw. Unfortunately, have a drop on the first play.
Got a nice head on his shoulders as well. Graduated in 3.5 years at the University of Utah. Academic all-conference.
First game here in his home state of Florida since high school. And he's got a hand to the big bruiser, Tony Jones. He is a bowling ball bouncing off the guys. The Notre Dame tailback has the first carry, and the thud there from Shaq Quarterman from Miami.
It's almost not fair in an all-star game to have two linebackers playing side by side that are teammates at Miami. When you have Quarterman and Pinckney, who've played so much football together, the communication is not going to be an issue for them today. Charles, I do want to point out one guy up front, though. You see him from Arkansas right there. He was
McTelvin?
the best.
McTelvin again?
Team. He was dominant this week.
Former five-star Arkansas D lineman came back for his final year, and here he is in the East-West Shrine Bowl. 3rd and 6 now. Let's see if Huntley can keep his team on the field. No. JJ, Jonathan Johnson underneath, but not enough because the other Miami linebacker was there. That one's Michael Pinckney.
What was that you said about it not being fair?
Yeah, look at him just in unison here, dropping, see the ball, close on it, make a big physical, firm tackle. Nicely done by Pinckney.
Did you notice how he stayed square in his drop, meaning he was able to see everything back at the line of scrimmage? He saw immediately when the quarterback got rid of the football, drove on it, and was able to make the thump.
Bucknell's Alex Petchin back to punt, and Adrian Killens.
I see you, Bucknell.
We'll call it fair catch.
Nice
Would
punt.
love to see Killens in the open field. It's not going to be there. Nice punt by Petchin. Morgan and the East coming back on the field. 7-0 early here, first quarter.
And listen to Mr.
College All-Star game of the country. It's been around since 1925 back in the San Francisco Bay Area. A huge part of the East-West Shrine Bowl and its success down on the field now with Kimberly Jones.
Well, thanks so much, Andrew. I am here with Bob Roller in his first year as executive director of this game, benefiting Shriners Hospital for Children. And Bob, I guess I'd ask you, first time in this role, what has struck you this week about how special it is?
Well, we really do live the motto, more than just a game. We finally are at a football game, and it's happening, and I'm very glad. But all week, there's been a lot of preparation, visits to the hospital, meeting all our patients in this area, and that's just been what's so special.
When you look at these players visiting those patients, it is always so touching. What do you think the real impact of that is, perhaps on everyone involved?
Well, we've even spoken to the past MVPs of this game, like Jimmy Garoppolo or Tom Brady. They don't remember the score of the game they played in, but they remember that hospital visit. Yesterday we had an adaptive game with wheelchair races, trying to tie your shoes with one hand, and it was just very meaningful, and it really brought home the message of Shriners Hospitals for Children.
The children are amazing, aren't they? What they can overcome and the obstacles they can clear are truly amazing.
They really do. They don't think of it as all as any obstacle in their mind. We may look at it with a different set of eyes, but they don't think so at all.
One thing about the Shriners Hospitals for Children, they treat patients and children regardless of the family's ability to pay. And I think that's an important thing to remind folks of as well.
It's so true. Everywhere we go, we'll meet someone in a hotel, airport, or a street, and they'll say, I have a family member, and we never paid a penny, and I don't know what we would have done without that. So that's what we're so thankful for.
And thankful to have this game behind us. You a football fan, Bob?
I'm a football fan, very much so. I love all the different helmets at an all-star game.
It brings together a lot of different cultures, a lot of different players, and a lot of fun. We thank you so much for joining us, Bob.
All right, thanks so much.
Andrew.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Bob. Really a good week here, and you always see the sincerity on the faces of the players when they say how much they enjoy the hospital visit, how much they are inspired by the patients, by the kids that they come in contact with. Here's our first penalty.
Number 77, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Matt Womack, the Alabama tackle, called for that first penalty. Marcus Woods, by the way, is our referee today, guys, from the ACC.
Going up against another fellow national champ there from North Dakota State. Derek Tuska coming off the edge.
And Tuska,
91.
Yeah, he can play now. Watch it. You see that nice little rip move inside on Womack? Tuska has had a heck of a career at North Dakota State, and he shows up big when the lights are bright. 2 back-to-back last year national championship games. sacks in each one of those games. When it's time to play, Tuska shows up.
And FCS All-American makes it 1st and 20 now. Adrian Killens in the backfield. We want to talk about cool helmets. Look at the UCF helmet. Play fake. Morgan is going to throw and throw complete. And the man who had the touchdown, Jamarcus Bradley, has another catch. And he almost got all that yardage back. He picks up close to 19.
Just double slants here, Charles. It's an easy read for the quarterback. You see double slants coming. Look at the window. That's just easy pitch and catch. Put it right on his chest.
Swain on his slant took DeMarcus Acey inside far enough that he opened the window even wider for Jamarcus Bradley outside. But would you say early in this content, look at him hanging on for dear life. Is that Barcoon?
That's a darn durable
that's
shirt. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Luther Kirk right there from Illinois State holding on for dear life.
On 2nd and 2, LeMay with a nice, tough run between the tackles. He takes it across midfield. That's enough for a first down. David Dowell for Michigan State, the safety, up to make the tackle.
I know it's early, DJ, but watching Morgan operate, he seems sharp, he seems decisive, very confident in what he's doing out there. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you. The one knock on him when you watch him on tape was drive accuracy down the field. He hangs on his back leg a lot. He doesn't transfer consistently, and that leads to some balls taking off on him. But so far, take what they give you. You see the numbers to support how well he's playing.
That feels like something that can be cleaned up, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
right? That type of a thing feels like you can clean that up for him.
Morgan, another play fake. And another completion to Wolf. He's getting loose, and another catch here for Eli Wolf.
Was that exactly what you were talking about, Daniel, about the way he hangs and then
hangs on that backside? But this is Wolf once again. Charles, I feel like I should let you talk about him, considering he was a volunteer at one point in time.
But since he went to Georgia, you can go ahead and talk about it.
You guys couldn't get anything more out of him than what he. Look at this guy.
I think right now the offensive staff's asking themselves a couple questions, aren't they? But right now he's getting an opportunity, and he's going ahead and making the most of it. He's had a very good week here when you talk with the coaching staff about how he adapted to things, how he picked up things, and he's doing it quite well here on Saturday.
Morgan sets up the screen. Here's Killens. He has the speed, makes a move, gets it down near the 10. We want to see him open it up. We're going to see it eventually. Dante Olson there from Montana had the tackle.
Yeah, nice little screen. The center, Williams, ended up getting up to the linebacker, gets just enough. And you don't need much space when you've got the speed that Killens possesses.
And Darrell Williams is off to a great start inside at center, isn't he?
He's going to be an NFL starting center.
Yeah.
And to me, when you talk about rounds, I'm thinking he looks like a 3rd, 4th round pick without.
And we'll start right away. You remember the kid for Texas A&M, Eric McCoy?
Yep.
Start right away with Texas A&M this year. And don't forget, Elton Jenkins, a fellow Mississippi State guy. We thought he'd be a center. He started at guard, and will start
well.
And will play in the national and play in the conference championship game for Green Bay.
They're first of the quarter, 30-second timeout.
Let me give you guys something real quick before we go on back to football. We saw Kim Jones talking to Bob Roller, and Bob talked about how he loves the helmets, right? All the different places. He and his staff this year instituted something different on the jerseys. They're putting their conference affiliation on every jersey now, so they got a little patch there to tell you what conference they came out of, which I think is a very nice touch by Bob and his staff.
Absolutely. The Shriners logo on the right shoulder, your conference on the left shoulder. And these players not only representing their schools, but representing their conferences. Some good conference rivalries here as well. You always see the guys, the FCS guys, maybe the smaller school guys want to come in here and prove that they can do big things against the guys with the helmets from the big schools.
I think right now, if you're a tight end on the East squad, you're saying, how come Wolf's getting all of them? If you're Giovanni Ricci and Mitchell Wilcox, when's our turn?
Here's LeMay on 1st and goal, and LeMay spins and dives and gets into the end zone.
This game's being dominated by the offensive line of this East team, and they are just creating all kinds of movement and running lanes for these backs. They're making this look easy, Charles.
And I think this is the second significant run of this game by Benny LeMay. We had one when Bob Roller was being interviewed where he had hesitation, saw his lane, and then exploded through it. This time, there was no need for hesitation. And look who was out there climbing up right away. Michael Owenu, the offensive guard from the University of Michigan. He looks like a quintessential offensive guard. What do you call them, those APMs? Automated people movers? That's exactly what he was on that play, to climb up there, and LeMay took full advantage of it to get into the end zone.
362 pounds getting up to the second level.
Get out of his way.
Yes.
In other words, Cooper Roth 2 for 2 on the extra points.
Look at him locked up. He's so good that even if you wanted to get out of his way, you couldn't get off of that block.
14-0 East.
When I started Cobra Kai.
Another long drive for the East. Benny LeMay caps off a 7-play, 77-yard drive. 10 of the 17 plays for the East have gone for 10 or more yards. And it is 14-0. Benny LeMay did this on Twitter. Love it. Lil Man said, I'm his favorite running back. I can't never take this for granted because it's a blessing just to inspire kids and make a change.
But a terrific young man, too. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at Charlotte. Had a big-time losing record. Got a brand-new head coach in Will Healy. Turned it around to a bowl season this year. And he was one of the leaders when I talked with Coach Healy. He feels indebted to guys like Benny LeMay. And then I met Benny's dad this week. And you can see Dad, he should go out there and get a couple plays in. Dad's still in great shape. And he's got the two brothers who were quarterbacks. One was at Georgia and went to Jacksonville State, and the other was a wide receiver at Georgia, and he transferred back to Charlotte.
Love this. After going 3 and out, they come out in the I formation, and there's Corbin down the sideline. Reggie Corbin from Illinois gives the West the spark that it needed. Shaheem Carter from Alabama chased him.
Reggie Corbin's fun to watch, and it's the speed. 6.3 yards a carry. Watch him feel this and bounce it. Press the hole, and then once he sees it, feels it, bounce. And he's able to make it look like that was my linebacker from Wagner, Cameron Gill, who got sucked in a little inside, just bounced right outside of him. You saw that burst.
And no real fullbacks on the roster, so they used Parker Houston, the tight end, as the lead blocking back on that play.
I just love that we have a fullback and a good old-fashioned I formation in there. That was a gain of 23. Huntley out of the sideline, and this time Jordan McRae hangs on.
Nice when they come back to you after you've had a bobble. And Jordan McRae, a transfer from the University of South Alabama, one season to Oklahoma State. I feel like there's nothing but clones on the West squad in terms of receivers.
They're big.
They are all these big, long, lengthy guys, angular cut. Nice job there by McRae running a nice route and a good delivery by Huntley.
And that's good for 15, and the West is across midfield. 23 and 15 on back-to-back plays here. As we're coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. East on top of the West, 14-0. Huntley play fake, runs away from the man, and then shows that he has some speed and some moves. And Tyler Huntley, who had 4 rushing touchdowns this year, takes it across the 20 and then gets the flag at the end for the late hit.
That's what he brings to the table, though. And he's accurate with the football. We talked about his completion percentage, but you give him any opportunity and a lane opens up, he will take it.
And he had to. He kind of got forced into that one, didn't he, Daniel? I thought it looked like almost a jailbreak inside. I'm not sure if that came over Cordell Iwuagwu, the nice guard from TCU. But all of a sudden, Huntley had to go.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 24. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Michigan's Lavert Hill.
Take a look and see where this occurs. Watch right here. Yeah, that's Gaziano from Northwestern.
Yep.
And he got in there so quickly. Huntley didn't want to take off. He was flushed on that play, but once he decided to go, he committed to it and then picked up the additional yardage after the unnecessary roughness.
Keep an eye on Benjamin Victor. He's on the bottom of the screen here. He's been a red zone machine this week.
19 from Ohio State, bottom of your screen. Huntley pulls it, keeps it, gets drilled. Loss of 4. Michael Danna, no one can block him this week out of Michigan.
Michael Danna's got 10.5-inch hands, and he plays with strong, heavy hands. When you watch him all week long in run fits, you watch him as a pass rusher. He likes the little push and pull move that he uses. Didn't have a lot of production, Charles, after transferring from Central Michigan. Only 3 sacks this year, but this is a great example of somebody using this week as a great opportunity to help yourself.
And guys, we're seeing more and more of these graduate transfers going from what is considered a lower level to a higher level of ball. It used to be the opposite. And Dan is now taking advantage of that by getting this opportunity here at the East-West game.
Loss of 3, backs him up now. It's a 2nd and goal. Huntley with time, fires short and incomplete. Desmond Hatman from Washington State.
Who was that forcing the issue there,
Austin Edwards. That looked like Austin Edwards from Fresno State, or Ferret State, I should say, getting a little bit of pressure. You see him 98.
There he is.
That big paw up there.
And he's working against Iwuagwu from TCU, who's a really good player. But how about him? Once he knew he couldn't get to the quarterback, what did he do? Got the arm in the air, tried to affect the play that way.
Not even just getting your arm, he elevated. Yeah, he showed you a little something there.
But you can see why he was the Division II Defensive Player of the Year.
Got the Gene Upshaw Award, gave it to him this week.
And let me rephrase that. The Lineman of the Year award for Division 2.
Can I confess something?
Yes.
I was a young scout. I went to Ferris State to see some offensive linemen. It's the coldest I've ever been. I left practice at about 4 minutes. I was like, I'm good.
And what time of year was that?
It was December.
Okay, just checking. I thought you were going to tell me it's May.
Big Rapids, Michigan. Huntley, Corbin breaks a tackle and gets gang tackled on the 7. That's Gary Brown, longtime running back coach for the Cowboys and the Browns. He's the offensive coordinator today.
Let's go.
8 years in the National Football League. Says he has not called plays since 2007 at Susquehanna University in Pennsylvania.
Susquehanna University, you know, that was the last stop. No, it wasn't. Take that back. I was about to give you.
If you knew something about that place,
I was going to give you a little Amos.
Walk right out of
I was going to give you a little Amos Alonzo Stagg, but I think he was Transylvania University as his last stop.
Okay.
Well, Gary Brown did not want 3rd down to be his last down.
But Susquehanna is in Pennsylvania. I can give you that.
It's good. You knew more about it than I did.
He's going to keep his offense on the field. Go for it on 4th down. Victor, bottom of your screen. Patman, top of your screen. Corbin to the backfield. 4th down. Huntley lofts it. Caught for the touchdown by the H-back Parker Houston from San Diego State.
He had Shaheem Carter on him like a backpack. It didn't matter. The safety from Alabama all over him, still found a way to make the play.
If he was on him like a backpack, he carried it like a backpack because he was in control. Because,
no doubt.
All right, so watch Houston right here. So let's see what ends up happening as he comes out into the route, working on Carter, and Huntley just decided, I'm going to let the big guy make a play on the football. Carter was in position, but he just fell back into it and took it from him.
If Carter had seen that football, he was heading right at him. Dominic Eberle with a point after. And the West gets a drive. Tyler
fun,
Huntley.
Fellas.
It is. Back at home in Florida, the Parker Houston, and we have 3 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Nothing beats wet.
Coming up Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Kurt Warner, Michael Irvin, Steve Smith Sr., Ian Rappaport, Cynthia Freeland, a cast of thousands. Get you set for kickoff, NFL Game Day morning. Interviews include Devontae Adams with Irv, Richard Sherman with Mike Silver, Mike Vrabel with Willie McGinnis, and Tyrann Mathieu with Steve Smith. Plus, Thomas Davis, Torrey Smith in studio. Championship Sunday, Game Day morning, ahead of the 2 big games tomorrow. We have 3 drives, guys, that ended up in touchdowns of 75 or more yards.
I'm knocking on wood. This is the cleanest All-Star game I think I've ever seen.
There you go.
Moving it up and down.
There
the
you
field.
go. Throw the whammy on it.
Parker Houston from San Diego State celebrating that last touchdown. Now the East back on the field with a new quarterback. Kevin Davidson is our quarterback now from Princeton. Adrian Killins Jr. Not a lot of running room. You were going to say something, Charles.
Yeah, very quickly before we get to Kevin Davidson. It was Susquehanna.
You were right.
Amos Alonzo Stagg. I got to just go with my first instinct. But Kevin Davidson, DJ, you've scouted him. I'm going to let you take the first shot. I'll fill in after that.
Yeah, 6'4", 227 pounds. They move him around a lot at Princeton. Very accurate on the right and to the left. A deep ball accuracy was something I want to see improvement with.
1-year starter, had a 7-touchdown game, has Killins in the backfield, and now on 2nd down has a completion over the middle. Houston on the tackle. It's Giovanni Ricci from Central Florida.
Yeah, the punter, Alex Petchin from Bucknell. He'll remember that 7-touchdown game. He came against his squad.
That's right.
So he saw that day up close and personal. And Kevin Davidson, you mentioned 1-year starter, Andrew. Well, the reason he's a 1-year starter, how about the 2 quarterbacks that preceded him at Princeton? John Lovett, the Bushnell Cup winner. Chad Knopf, the 2017 Bushnell Cup winner. That means the best player in the Ivy League on offense. Hard to break into the lineup with those guys ahead of you.
No doubt.
On 3rd and 4 now on Davidson's opening drive. Has some time. Now the pocket closes, and he's going to scramble and throw it. And it's intercepted with a flag down. It's SMU safety Patrick Nelson who has it. I don't know if Davidson was trying to throw it away or not, but it hung up there, and Nelson got it.
I thought Barku got
Or did Kirk get it?
Barku had a hold there. They might get him with the penalty from San Diego
Davidson
State.
might get bailed out on that one. If you're going to get rid of it, you got to know it's a dead area you're throwing into, or throw it over the sideline. Remember when Morgan got in trouble earlier from FIU?
Get it out of there.
Got rid of it over the sideline to make sure it couldn't fall into harm's way.
Holding, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that was Barku working on Mason Kinsey. This is a great matchup. You want production? How about a corner who had 9 picks this year at San Diego State, working against a receiver in Mason Kinsey from Berry College, who has 50 career touchdowns. 2 really productive players, and that's the right call. Just grabbed on.
As we come down towards the end of the first quarter, Barku is kind of handsy all week in practice. Pitch to Killens. Finds his lane. Another flag down in the backfield. Killens out to the 40-yard line. Clock stops at 5 seconds. Chris Williamson with the tackle.
Offense, number 13, 10-yard penalty, first down.
How about Kinsey? Just turns it right around.
There you go.
Okay, you got me, I'll get you. But people, when you talk about a guy being handsy in practice and the transition from college football to the NFL, college football, you can have your hands on a receiver until the ball's in the air anywhere on the field. In the NFL, 5-yard zone. After 5 yards, you got to get your hands off. It takes a while for these guys to transition.
Also speaks to how quick Mason Kinsey is. Making plays all week long in practice, and we have touchdowns, 3 of them on the board. It is 14-7, end of 1 here at the East-West Shrine Bowl. It's Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, as they interview all the biggest stars of Super Bowl 54. It is Super Bowl opening night. It is live from Miami. Coming up January 27th, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on NFL Network. We will find out tomorrow who is going to play in Miami. The Chiefs, the Titans, the Niners, or the Packers. These are some of the notable alums from the East-West Shrine game that we're going to see in the AFC Championship game. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif was here in 2014, one of the Canadians. There's 2 every year. He's turned out to be a winner.
How about the name at the bottom there, Charles Davis?
Talk about Eric Bieniemy.
A man who deserves to be a head coach in this league.
He's had a heck of a run there, and everybody needs to let the misconception he doesn't call plays go. He's fully collaborating with Andy Reid on those play calls. And Brett Kern, the punter, he may be the biggest difference in that ball game against the Chiefs.
Davidson with a little shovel pass, and John Houston said no way.
What a great read by John Houston. Just sniffs that out immediately and just drives right on it to make the tackle. This is somebody who started 36 games at USC. You see him 40 right here in the middle. Watch him read this. He sees it right now. Go. Don't hesitate. Get downhill. Make the play right at the line of scrimmage. Somebody who's been working with Kasim Osgood, the great special teams player. He knows that's where his role is going to be on special teams and in sub packages.
Especially with that body type. He looks more like a strong safety than he does a linebacker.
It's a loss of 4. Now 2nd and 24. Some miscommunication and incompletion and a flag. The intended receiver, Keith Gavin from Florida State.
Barku take 2.
Holding, defense, number 29. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
How about you putting it on Barku?
Was that not Barku?
They got Jordan Glasgow.
You laid it on Barku, and it was Jordan Glasgow from Michigan.
Well, let's see. Let's
okay,
watch
so here's
Barku's down here.
And here's Glasgow, okay?
All right, we're getting to see. There's a lot of contact.
Could have been both.
Come on.
Could have been both.
Okay, so your case is made. Look, you know, I think the officials just decided, look, give it to the other guy this time.
We had a clean couple of opening drives here when it comes to penalties. Not so much now. Dowdle with a lot of room. Dowdle shows the speed, and he gets it across midfield. And finally tripped up near the 45-yard line. Jordan Glasgow, who had the flag, gets the tackle.
Daniel, everything on the right side of this offensive line was really in sync for Dowdle. And then he cleans it up afterwards. Watch this on the right side. Right there, excellent block on Raequan Williams right at the point, and then he runs right through the attempted tackle by Kirk before Glasgow comes and hauls him down. Did they just run out of size in the Glasgow family? You got you got 2 linemen, an offensive and a defensive lineman in the NFL. Glasgow's a safety.
Glasgow, though, might have saved a touchdown there. It's a gain of 30, and now Davidson hit as he throws, but it's caught. That's Hammond out of Florida, spin move, and he's down to the 10. Keith Washington tried to rip that ball out.
I don't know how that wasn't a sack. Bryce Huff was right there with the pressure coming off the edge. I don't even know how he got the ball off, CD.
I'm not sure either, but let's look downfield because Hammond comes up with it. And for a while there, you were wondering, why was Gavin in the same spot? But that happens a lot in all-star games. You may not get the spacing you get when you've had training camp and time to run your routes. Gavin's in the same place. Hammond comes up with the ball because that's who Davidson was targeting.
A gain of 32 after the gain of 30 on the previous play, and now we have it on the 12-yard line, a first down, and Dowdle with the carry, and a far more modest gain over the right side with, again, Glasgow up there for the tackle.
And Glasgow, to me, is going to be a sub-linebacker special teams player. That's what his role is going to be. When he's close to the line of scrimmage, he's got a shot. You do not want him back in the deep portion of the field. But he is very instinctive and has a good feel when he's working inside.
Very comfortable up in that spot, too, being able to get up there and make plays in the running game.
Played both linebacker and safety at Michigan. His brother Graham with the Lions, Ryan with the Bengals. 2nd and 8 now, just inside the 10-yard line. Davidson from Princeton to the corner and overthrows Gavin from FSU.
Looks like they were trying a little something there, DJ. They were trying to get them to look short and bite on the underneath route to open up Gavin back in the back corner of the end zone because they wanted to throw that ball up high over the top of a defensive back.
There's Marcus Brady calling plays.
Got to tell you guys something. We had the meetings with all the coaches. Marcus Brady, I thought, was extremely impressive in our time there.
Quarterbacks coach with the Colts, Marcus Brady, former CFL coordinator for 6 years, calling plays, former CFL quarterback as well.
I'd like to see Davidson get on the move a little bit. He's very accurate on the move.
Killins in the backfield, 3rd and 8. Davidson right through Killins' hands, and then he gets popped and knocked down by Dele Harding from Illinois.
Was there a train whistle that he heard? Did he hear it? Because I feel like he must have sensed it. Let's take a look at Killins here.
He got a look.
Yeah, he's starting to turn to look.
Oof.
And then guess what? You're rewarded with the kiss at the end of it from Mr. Harding. He had a heck of a year, guys. 153 tackles, 14.5 for loss, 3 forced fumbles. You can see why. He gets downhill quickly.
You learn it from Lovie Smith there, that defensive staff.
He sat right in the middle of that Tampa, too, and just reacted, didn't he?
26-yard field goal try now for Wyoming's Cooper Roth. You heard somebody yell, miss it. He did not miss it. 2 for 2 on his extra
Tough
points.
crowd.
1 for 1 on the field goal. Tough crowd, but a good game, 17-7. If you could zoom into the Microsoft Surface, it says the East is averaging 9.2 yards per play. Down to the sideline and Kimberly Jones.
Well, thanks, Andrew. I'm here with Will Shields, of course, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs. Never missed a game in his career, is a Hall of Famer, was a Walter Payton Man of the Year, and also played in this game back in 1993. You know, Will, they say that players don't remember the final score of this game necessarily, but they remember the hospital visits. Is that still true?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You get a chance to actually do something unique, be in front of young people that are doing things that are special, and I should say not it's extraordinary how they're able to do things, but it's all about the cause, and the cause is what makes this game that much more important.
You were inducted last night into the Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame. Was that a special honor for you?
It is. It's got opportunity to join some of my fellow classmates, because actually a couple of years ago Willie Roaf went in. So give me a chance to actually be a part of that group, but also to be honored to be a part of this game. And to me, that's very important, to be able to sit here with these guys and work with them, but also to see the different things that they get a chance to be exposed to let them know how important community is.
They say it's more than just a game, and that is true for the Shriners. Now, when you look at these players out here, you're coaching them up this week. Are these O-linemen listening to every single word you say, Will? I hope so.
I hope so. They're getting little bits and pieces, but I think it'll be more so after the game is over. They'll be like, so what did I do wrong? What did I do right? So after every series, they're going back, oh, did you see that play? Did you see this play? So, they actually ask for your guidance and try to help them get better. Give them a little information that they can take with them.
Do you enjoy that part of it? You're able to help another generation of offensive linemen.
Most definitely. I love the opportunity to be able to help these guys get better and the coach. I think my last 4 or 5 years, I've always tried to bring one of the young guys in and sort of be a coach while you were playing. And so I just sort of keep trying to pass that along.
Last thing, I'll put you on the spot. Did any one player stand out to you this week?
Actually, there's a couple of good guys in there. We got a couple of good guards that I think is going to make a big impact. We got 2 big tackles that, I think they got a good chance. So there's a lot of guys that have an opportunity to play at the next level.
Well, thanks so much. And Andrew, I hope they're listening to this guy right here.
They should listen to that guy. One of the best to ever do it, Hall of Famer Will Shields. It's one thing to come here and get NFL coaching. It's another thing to come here and get Hall of Fame coaching.
I like how coy he was about it, too. 2 good guards, 2 good tackles. Can we get a name?
I'll give you a name of the new quarterback, Charles. It's Missouri's Kelly Bryant. This is his opening drive. Former Clemson quarterback, transferred, finished his career in Columbia. That first play while Will Shields was talking, the West picked up a personal foul. Actually, the East did. Garrett Marino from UAB almost decapitated the quarterback.
Wait till you see him on this play. This is Garrett Marino. There he is. Rub your belly. You deserve it. Watch him get off the ball here. Charles, watch this immediate sudden burst right over the nose here. There he is. Boom. Shed the block and then deliver the blow while you're getting held, while they're tugging on your jersey, still make the play. The coaches were funny talking about this kid because he's so juiced up, so wired up for practice. The most important thing to him, just breathe.
Yeah, because
just relax.
Didn't they say he actually hyperventilated one day because he was so excited in practice? Was that a great nickname they gave him? The Madman. And he's played awfully hard already in this game.
Garrett Marino is a force of nature. Started at Arizona State, then went to Montana State, ended up at UAB. Here he draws the penalty. And here we have James Robinson, who's loose. James Robinson, Illinois State, inside the red zone before he's wrestled out of bounds by Elijah Riley, the FCS All-American, the 2-time Walter Payton finalist, James Robinson.
James Robinson, you talked about a bowling ball earlier. How about 5'9", 222 pounds? Want to see what he can do in the passing game? It's blocked beautifully, cuts all the way across the field, ends up getting a huge gain. Does not have that top speed. You saw it there, Charles, but he is going to be a plugger between the tackles and showing very reliable hands here.
And what was really nice for him was to show the hands and the ability to break out into the open field, because most of the scouts I've talked to have said first and second down type of a runner. Yeah. Being able to show that versatility helps his evaluation.
That was good for 46. Now Levante Bellamy is into the game at running back from Western Michigan, and he gets a couple of yards over the left side.
One more thought on Robinson, guys. I knew he was productive, but I'm watching. The first tape I watched is against SEMO, Southeast Missouri. And it's just one 40-yard run after another. Finally, I'm like, how many yards does this guy have in this game? I looked it up, 41 carries, 297 yards in that ball game.
On his way to 1,917 yards on the season and 23 touchdowns. That's productive.
He has been a workhorse, and in high school as well. Illinois high school rushing record of over 9,000 yards before he ended up at Illinois State.
Good program there, led by Brock Spack, their head coach.
It's Bellamy again in the backfield, though, on 2nd and 6, and Bellamy gets the carry, shows that he could get skinny through the line, and sets up a 3rd and short.
Watch the little slide step. He's the running back, just offset to Kelly Bryant, and just a nice little hop, cuts right through. Nice little pop by Clemens, number 33, Rodney Clemens from SMU. But a nice job with vision, and then sees it and gets vertical quickly before he runs into the safety.
It's been a quiet game so far for Ajim, the defensive tackle from Arkansas. I thought we'd see him make some splash plays. He's in the middle here, 93. Really had a chance to make his mark on this game yet.
And we have Robinson back in the backfield. Parker Houston, the up back. Robinson, the carry, trying to bounce it to the outside. And he's hemmed in and gets nothing, goes backwards.
What'd you just say about him not making his mark?
I said it's time for him to make a punt.
Okay, that's what you meant, right?
That's exactly what he did. Show me some knockback. You want to reset the line of scrimmage? This is what he did all week in practice. I've just been waiting for it, and here we go. You take the center.
And then everyone else, you clean up after that, because once he converted that play to rubble inside, that was Zach Shackelford, I believe, from Texas, the center, that he knocked back.
Got underneath him.
And made sure now the runner has to bounce it, which allowed other players to get involved defensively.
28-yard field goal try by Dominic Eberle is good. Our kickers have been perfect. 17-10. The East on top of the West midway through the second quarter here at Tropicana Field.
If your child...
This has been a fun game today. Had some offense, had some big hits, had some nice runs. The East on top of the West, 17-10 here at the 95th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl. And this is another possession for Kevin Davidson for the East. The Princeton quarterback said one-year starter. Do want to point out, though, that he did start a game in 2018, and all he did in that game was throw 5 touchdowns. Not bad. Not bad.
And that still didn't get him the starting job.
And it didn't get him the starting job. And as we say that, he throws incomplete. Intended for Giovanni Ricci from Central Florida. The lowest interception percentage in school history. 374 attempts, only 6 picks.
Well, does he have some of the DBs in on that? Because it certainly looked like Jace Whitaker had an excellent chance to take that the other way. You know, that turned into the old joke, and I hate it because I'm a DB. DBs are wide receivers who can't catch.
Do you really believe that?
No, I don't believe that.
Because some cliches are true.
Yep.
Right? And some, they're just crutches we use in the broadcast.
I will say this, for a good number of college coaches out there who have decided that all we're going to do is outscore people, you might want to put some of those guys on defense and get a stop or two, and might change your record a little bit.
A little bit?
Because all we're doing now is turning into track meets. When they get players now, they're going on offense, and the defense is just getting lit up.
They want to touch the football. Hey, keep an eye on 53, Michael Walker from Fresno State, this linebacker. A really good player on tape who's versatile. See him right there in the middle.
One of only 2 outside backers on this West team, although he played a lot with his hand down as well at Fresno State. This is 3rd and 8 for Davidson. Climbs the pocket, throws, and that is complete for a first down. And that is our guy from Berry College, Mason Kinsey, a Division III wide receiver.
He passed the test for me, Charles, because I flipped on the tape to watch some Berry College and did not look up his number, and it did not take me very long to figure out who he was.
You went Barry Switzer there, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Barry Switzer used to say in recruiting, 5 plays. If I don't know him in 5 plays, then we're not going to take him no matter how much you lobby me. But I'll give you a quick one on Kinsey after this next play if possible. Should have seen him in pregame.
Gain of 9. Benny LeMay nowhere to go. Let's go down to Kim real quick. Kim, hi.
Yeah, Charles, I hate to steal this, but he was out here really early in pregame. I asked him about that. He says he just likes to catch as many balls as he can, really get warmed up. You know, Berry College is in Rome, Georgia, and he said he knew coming here the biggest question was about his level of competition. He wanted to prove this week he could play with Power 5 conference players. He also said, by the way, guys, this is it for him right now. No combine invite. He's hoping to sneak into Georgia's pro day. They're short on receivers and maybe make an impact there.
And here's Kinsey again with another one.
Kim, I think that what he's doing today and what he's done this week, I think that'll allow him to get into that Georgia Pro Day. I'd be surprised if they don't. It's good PR, if nothing else. It's good of Georgia to let him in, and then people get a better look at him. And I think now Davidson's starting to get a little bit of a rhythm, too, throwing the football, guys. And one other thing, in pregame today, I saw him catch a little shallow pass down on one end of the field. Do you know he took it all the way to the other end and scored with it? That was his pregame warm-up. Make sure he got himself loose and ready to go.
It's 3rd and 5. Let's see if Kinsey can do something here. Davidson, as you said, getting into a rhythm. That one a little high, though, for Gavin, who could not come down with it.
I don't know how high that was and if Gavin just didn't go get it. My first blush was that had an opportunity. I'd have to see it again, and I may very well be wrong, and I've been before. This looked like one. Let's see if Gavin really had a better shot at it than yes. Go get that one.
Gavin 6'2", the ball had some gas on it, but that's in your hands.
The linebacker. I don't know how much I'm going to extend.
He saw Michael Walker, and he said, okay, yeah, that's really not what I'm going to get.
John Hightower from Boise State, who we talked about earlier, back to return this one, and he will call a fair catch and then put it on the ground on the 25-yard line. 17-10. East on top of the West. Another step here on the path to the draft. Having fun at the 95th East-West Shrine Bowl.
The
Led three-time Super Bowl champion, longtime defensive line coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He is the defensive coordinator today for the East, leading 17-10. It has been not just about the offense.
Michael Dana, you're going to see him a bunch in these clips, Charles. He's been outstanding for Michigan. See the hands getting off blocks and making plays.
You mentioned earlier a transfer from Central Michigan, and there was a big-time play. Was that Marino inside?
Yep.
From UAB. And then there's a nice play by Clemens, who's a very aggressive safety, wearing 33 like his idol Jamal Adams of the New York Jets. But there's the big cat, Leon Lett, getting his chance to be a coordinator.
Said it was pretty cool to be coached by Will Shields, a Hall of Famer. Pretty cool to be coached by a defensive lineman with 3 Super Bowl rings as well. Kelly Bryant now. Oh, we got some trickery. Here's Hightower. Hightower keeps his legs moving and picks up a first down across the 35.
All right, Hightower owes me an apology because I went and talked to him before the game. I said, man, you're one of my favorite players this week. When I watch the tape, I love how they get you the ball and some fly sweeps, some reverses. Are we going to see that today? He goes, I don't know. Yeah, you did. You knew it was coming.
Look at the hustle by Kendall Coleman from Syracuse, though, number 54. Helps
Forcing
turn the play inside, and watch him stay with it, and then help make the tackle on Hightower. Good pickup, but a nice defensive play by Kendall Coleman, not giving up on it.
You see the numbers down there, but they use him as a ball carrier. He's outstanding. You saw an example of it right there.
A gain of 12 on that one. And then Bellamy, who cuts back and gets a couple of yards, maybe 3 or 4 now for the Western Michigan tailback.
Charles, one of the players on this defense as they're going hurry up here, Cam Gill, 92, the linebacker off the ball from Wagner. He is twitched up and explosive.
Bryant with a completion to the North Dakota State tight end, Ben Ellefson.
Quick question for you, DJ. When you watched him on tape, kid out of Wagner. Now, we had an offensive lineman come out of Wagner a couple of years ago, the former basketball player turned offensive tackle. What do you see? You say he's twitched up and he can get out and go. What did you see on him in tape?
Well, he's a former high school receiver. When you watch him, you see the speed. It jumps off the tape. He's got a bunch of sacks, over 30 career sacks, but they play him off the ball, and you can see him run sideline to sideline. He's not Darius Leonard, but that's the type of linebacker he's going to be in terms of the way he plays the game.
So you like a run, chase, will type
run,
of
run and hit.
Run and hit.
Clock now coming up towards 2:30 remaining in this game, or the second quarter, I beg your pardon. There's Bellamy again across midfield as we're getting closer to the 2-minute warning. The East on top of the West, 17-10. 2 timeouts remaining for the West. And the clock obviously will stop at the 2-minute warning.
That was a nice tackle by the guy we're just talking about, Cam Gill from Wagner. Inside, sometimes a little bit slow to see it and sort through all that trash. When you can get him away from the box where you can see, then you can see him fly.
Talked to a coach before the game, said he was really comfortable, obviously, getting after the quarterback, a little less comfortable dropping, but as the week progressed, Gill got better. And that's what this week is all about. 17-10, 2-minute warning.
As parents,
we're 2 minutes away from halftime, heading back to Los Angeles. Lindsey Rhodes with LaDainian Tomlinson, the Hall of Famer, looking at Derrick Henry's game for the AFC Championship game. David Carr is there as well. First half impressions from this one, the 95th East-West Shrine Game.
I've been at some all-star games with no offense. You almost wish you were in that speedboat, but this has been a lot of fun, man. This ball is moving up and down the field. Good offense, real crisp, and we've seen some splash defensive plays as well.
Depends on what that speedboat's doing.
I said Shrine Game. It is now the Shrine Bowl, the 95th edition. Let's get that right with Levante Bellamy in the backfield. 2-minute warning. 2 timeouts remaining for the West. 2nd and 8 at midfield. Bryant from Missouri with a short drop and a completion to McCray from Oklahoma State. And the clock is going to stop at 1:54.
A little quick out there, just a rhythm timing throw. You get soft corner play, it's easy pitch and catch. Charles, we've got Juwan Johnson here from Oregon, the wide receiver 86, who we've been discussing all week long.
He will be a tight end. I told you to sit down and have the conversation with him, and you declined to do it.
I don't want to be that guy. I think we've both read the last chapter of that book, but I'll let him come to that conclusion himself.
We have an actual tight end, Ben Ellefson from North Dakota State, lined up slot to the left now on first down from the 41 with 1:54 to go. Bryant, the check down. Bellamy brought down. Nice tackle there by Elijah Riley from Army. No, I beg your pardon. That's not me. That's Isaiah Swan from Dartmouth.
Who does a nice job, a two-time All-American in FCS. Co-Ivy League champions this year, the Dartmouth Big Green.
Clock moving. Bryant, incomplete.
And we talked about these receivers, DJ, on the West squad, all being like a basketball group, right? Tall, angular guys.
Not
JJ. Not number 12, Jonathan Johnson, who played at Missouri with Kelly Bryant. And I was teasing both of them in the pregame, like, hey, when he's open, you going to get the ball to him, Brian? He's like, I'm going to get it to my guy. Tried to on that last play unsuccessfully.
Well, they weren't ironically, weren't on the same page. There was a miscommunication.
And they also have an offensive lineman up there blocking right now, also from the University of Missouri, number 65, Trevor Wallace-Sims.
Bryant 4 for 5, 3rd and 6, and dropped back inside the 45 of the 48.
That was a meeting at the quarterback there. When you look at that one, that was Michael Dana once again, 94. You're going to see him inside rushing. You're going to see at the top Syracuse with the dip move. Kendall Coleman has used that dip move all week long. Those two guys, that's not new. We've seen that all week.
You know how they always talk about the lookout block that linemen have to give sometimes, where you yell look out to your quarterback? All he got out was look.
You said he used that dip move all week long. Evidently, Darren Paolo still couldn't stop it. He beat the Utah tackle, Kendall Coleman from Syracuse, not the biggest guy, but he got to the quarterback there, and he brought up a 4th and 15, and the East will call a timeout with 1:24 to go.
See Anthony Blevins there, the special teams coach for the West, gathering his group. Going to send out Petchin to punt the ball away from Bucknell.
Michael Dana from Michigan is only 6'2", 257 pounds, but we've seen him off the edge. We've seen him get pressure inside. Man, he's intriguing. I mean, the productions, I thought he'd step up, makes the transfer, that you'd see him blow up. It didn't really happen with that crowded group at Michigan, but he's got some tools.
And we always talk about dimensions with these kids, and they seem light and small. Have you noticed who's making plays in the NFL? A lot of guys with those types of dimensions playing the game. It's a speed game.
You got to be able to run.
Here's Petchin's punt, and Mason Kinsey calls for that fair catch, and in some traffic makes it on the 15-yard line. So let's see what the East can do with a couple of timeouts and 1:19 to work with. And we're going to have a new quarterback. Tommy Stevens started at Penn State, ended at Mississippi State.
And Tommy Stevens, not a lot of production there after the transfer, but he is a big dude, 6'4.5", 237 pounds, and can move around a little bit. So we'll see if they use him some in that regard, Charles. The other thing I would say is in a 2-minute drill, when you've got space, Adrian Killens, check it down and watch him go.
And Killens is in the backfield with that UCF helmet. Stevens left. Tommy Stevens, our first look at him today. And it's going to be a sack.
See, this is a
Ladarius Hamilton. Sorry, Charles.
Sorry about that. This is a chance for Tommy Stevens to expand his repertoire a little bit, because this isn't his forte. 2-minute offense, much more of a quarterback run game guy, able to throw the ball downfield off of a heavy run action. Now this is a chance to expand what he does, see if he can get the ball out of his hands into the receivers.
And here's Killens. Told you he could run. He picks up the first down, gets it across the 30-yard line as the clock winds, under 50 seconds to go. Dele Harding up for the tackle, and the clock is going to move. The East are going to keep those timeouts, still have 2 of them. 31-yard line now. Stevens again with the check down. Killens close to a first down. He's going to get 9. Justin Houston is there. And now they will stop the clock with 23 seconds to go.
Do you have a direct line into Marcus Brady's headset, DJ?
No, I called.
Or do you have it directly to Tommy Stevens and just said hit the check down?
This is what happens when you call the Charger games and you see Austin Eckler 2-minute drills. Take those little check downs and go. That's the easiest money you're ever going to make.
After Tommy Stevens takes a sack on the first play, comes right back on the next 2 and says, I think DJ said take the check down to Killens. Let me give it to him.
Stealing.
Tommy Stevens has been a journey. He was a Penn State transfer, as we mentioned. Here he is at the Manning Passing Academy. He actually played some wide receiver, too, at Penn State.
And running back, quarterback run games, like a wildcat quarterback, what they call the lion position when he was in the game. Remember, he left and went to Mississippi State in order to be a full-time quarterback, because Joe Moorhead was the offensive coordinator at Penn State, who took the job at Mississippi State, and he was there with him for the last season.
listens to Metallica before games. I meant to ask him before today's game if it was a Metallica kind of day.
Just like my man Axe on TV show Billions. Big Metallica fan.
2nd and 1 for the Metallica fan, Tommy Stevens. Steps up. Stevens will check it down to Dowdle. Clock is running.
Tackle.
Dowdle's got the first down.
Kept him in.
Nice tackle there. Jace Whitaker from Arizona, and the clock is moving.
Great job by Whitaker keeping him in bounds as Dowdle did his best to try and get over the sideline.
And they're going to spike it with 3 on the clock. 1 timeout left for these.
Just so you guys know, we're not off to Neverland. We're off to Mobile. So just so you know.
Virginia Tech people are going to want a piece of that one. That is a great entrance, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Virginia Tech at night with Enter Sandman and that team hitting the field, that's pretty strong.
Remember, these 2-minute drives here in the NFL are different than they are in college. The clock does not stop on first downs, obviously, in the NFL, as it does in college football. So now 3 seconds remaining. 42-yard line. Put some air underneath the Tommy Stevens, or just check it down.
Juice your stats, brother.
That's okay, too.
Adrian Killins is like, yes, yes. Throw it to me, baby.
And that is how the 2nd quarter will end. I wanted to see him take a shot.
Yeah, sure, but Adrian Killins said, I'm good. Right here, hit me. And by the way, that's Adrian Killins' game. Open space, get him the football. He's going to be much more of a slot receiver than he's going to be a running back on the next level. But when he has space, look out. He can go.
Adrian Killins, 5 first-half receptions for 50 yards. Halftime, down to the sideline, and Kimberly Jones.
Thank you, Andrew. Mike, your first 2 offensive drives, James Morgan right down the field for touchdowns. What worked so well early?
Well, we talked about coming out and getting off to a fast start, and the offense moved the ball. We got a 3-and-out on defense, and that's the way you want to start a game.
What's your message for your team at halftime?
We've got to finish. Too many big plays, too many penalties. We've got to come back out here with the same focus and start off the 3rd quarter the same way we started off the game.
Thanks very much, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike Caldwell, linebacker coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, getting a chance to be a head coach here and starting well. His East team has a lead 17-10 over the West in the 95th East-West Shrine Bowl. Coming up next, back to LA, Total Access, halftime. Don't go anywhere.
If your child has a
this has been a fun day in St. Petersburg. The 95th East-West Shrine Bowl, the longest-running college all-star game. Started back in the San Francisco Bay Area, now in the Tampa Bay area in St. Petersburg, Florida here. The East on top of the West, 17-10. That's Daniel Jeremiah. This is Charles Davis. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Gentlemen, some thoughts here. What do you think of the first half?
I don't know that we've seen a cleaner all-star game than the one that we've been watching today. It's just the ball moving up and down the field. We haven't had turnovers, no sloppy play, only a couple penalties. The defensive line has showed up in a big way, and I thought quarterback-wise it's been pretty efficient as well.
Yeah, and I thought the offensive line showed up very well for the East in the beginning, led by Darrell Williams from Mississippi State, their center. But I think this clean game is a credit to both coaching staffs, really doing a nice job, but the kids grasping it and turning it loose in this ball game.
And that's really what this week is all about. We've said it 100 times. You get these players here, they get NFL coaching, and what they were maybe in a meeting on Monday or their first time on the field on Tuesday, you want to see improvement, and we've seen so much of that on Saturday. We've seen some good quarterback play. James Morgan right out of the gates well.
Yeah, we talked about it at the very top. He was the best quarterback prospect coming into the game. He had the best week of practice of any of these guys, and so far he's delivered in a big way today. 8 of 11, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. Really simply just taking what's there. See him extend the play, get outside the pocket on this one, Charles. Just making good decisions, and you couple that with his size and add it to the fact everybody said he was the best interview of any player they talked to this week. Multiple scouts told me that about him. So a heck of a week for him.
It's really been a terrific week for him as you take a look at the stats. And, you know, in an all-star game, stats can tell you a story. They may not, but in this case, they do tell us about how things have gone. Morgan getting them off to a terrific start, 201 yards throwing the football, and then averaging almost 8 yards per play. Leading big in time of possession, whether that matters or not in an all-star game, who knows? But they have played awfully well, and now I think we're going to get ready for the second half.
Over 400 yards of total offense between these two teams. Ben Steele's coaching the West. His team's down 7. Here's what he had to say in the locker
room. Come on, let's go. In the back, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, second half now. Offense, we get the ball to start. Okay? One play at a time. Let's drive the thing down. They're not stopping us, right? We've stopped ourselves. Defense, you guys have done a great job, got them backed up, okay? We just got to do little things. Tackle, wrap up, and tackle, okay? We're going to come out the second half blazing, okay? We're going to come out blazing. This is why we play the game right here, right? This is why we play the game. We're going to come back and get it right now. Bring it in right here. Hey, 2 more quarters of ball now. Let's fly around and have some fun. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ben Steele with his West there. A Falcons coach, former Buccaneers tight end coach, former NFL tight end. And there's Mike Caldwell, the inside linebacker coach for the Buccaneers. He's coaching the East, former second-round pick out of Middle Tennessee State by the Bill Belichick, Nick Saban Cleveland Browns back in the early 90s. Cooper Roth's going to kick off. And it's John Hightower from Boise State. Back to return this as we get a kickoff to start the game and a kickoff here to start the third quarter. And we are underway in that third quarter at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Hightower runs up to take the short kick at the 8 to the left, makes a cut to the inside, and gets it out near the 25-yard line. And that is where the West will open things up. Down 7. Let's see who comes out at quarterback for the West.
Like that hustle by Neville Clark from UCF.
That was a nice
kickoff, being able to get down there and spill it.
This is going to get fun now. I think it's Mason Fine.
It is, DJ. It's Mason Fine, our first look at the quarterback from North Texas, the 2-time Conference USA Player of the Year, the leader for yardage and touchdowns at North Texas. 3 years with Graham Harrell. He's not the biggest guy, but he can sling it.
Graham Harrell's the offensive coordinator, right? Seth Luttrell, their head coach at North Texas, and they slinging around like crazy before Graham Harrell matriculated his way to USC as the offensive coordinator after Cliff Kingsbury was there for a hot minute, and then got the Arizona Cardinals head coaching job.
It's been a springboard because
I'm telling you.
Now you're hearing stories that Graham's interviewed with the Eagles for their OC job.
Exactly. And SC could be looking for a new offensive coordinator. I told you he could sling it. His first one is a completion to Benjamin Victor, the wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Rhythm in the pocket. That's what you see when you study Mason Fine. Watch where this ball comes out. Right when he gets to the top of his route, ball's already gone. Tremendous separation on the outside back foot, one hitch, and he's got plenty of arm strength, Charles. That's not a problem.
Not a problem at all. And look, that pocket was clean. Everything was visible. Him being able to throw it like that, that arm will come through. Obviously, with his height, what you worry about is when things get muddy back there and the sight lines get obscured.
Kevin Davidson had a 7-touchdown game. The Princeton quarterback, Mason Fine, also had a 7-touchdown game. There's Tony Jones with the carry for Notre Dame for maybe a yard. Listen, it's going to be the height issue, as you guys said. Kyler Murray last year at 5'10", and just over 5'10", 5'10 and an eighth. Mason Fine, just under 5'10".
You see that Utah game there, 7 touchdowns. I watched that one, Charles. First pass was a touchdown. Second pass was a touchdown, and the 6th pass was a touchdown. Not a bad start to the game. That's what he is, though. He's a gamer. He's been a great college player. The question is, what are you going to get at the next level? That's what everybody's trying to sort out.
Mason Fine's got a 2nd and 8 here. He's going to give it to Tony Jones, who doesn't get much. Michael Pinckney from Miami up there for the tackle. Tony Jones playing at home here from St. Pete. Played his high school ball at IMG.
One more story on Mason Fine. I talked to Graham Harrell the other day about him and said when they got to North Texas with Seth Luttrell, this team was coming off on 1-11 year. Nobody wanted to go play for them. He gets a call from a high school coach saying, I've got this quarterback. He doesn't have any offers. You want you to look at him. So Coach Harrell looks at him and he's blown away. Calls the kid, offers him on the spot. The kid's excited to come, and then the first time he walks through the door, he goes, oh, my gosh, what did I just do?
Yeah.
When he saw his physical stature, he said, look, he came in here. They had a grad transfer quarterback from Alabama. He just flat out beat him out and got right on the field.
Fine on 3rd down. Keeps the drive alive. He finds Parker Houston, the tight end, the H-back from San Diego State, and he has enough near midfield.
He showed that he was smart, though, because Fine, when he came back on his visit, he was wearing real baggy clothes and Air Force Ones, so he got a little bit bigger there. Yeah.
You know, what do they call that on Seinfeld? Lifting, right? When you put a little bit extra in the shoe. And there's Mason Fine again. And look, he's been this height for a long time. He's dealt with this for a long time. He understands how to slide in and out of the pocket, find the open throwing lanes, use some mobility to get outside so things get a little clearer for him. And he's been a competitor. He thought he had a deal at Oklahoma State, guys. And that fell through, and that allowed Seth Luttrell and that crew. That's why the high school coach called and said, look, I still got a guy out here, 2-time Oklahoma Player of the Year, and no one wants to take him. I've got a guy for you. It worked out very well for the Mean Green in North Texas.
2-star recruit. People have doubted him. He showed up, and all he did was throw touchdowns. Michael Pinckney, by the way, the Miami linebacker, with a nice stop there.
They list him at 5'10". Do you really believe it?
Well, they measured him officially, so as officially he was 5'0", which is 5'9" 3/4", 189 pounds. So, yeah, to me, play action and get him on the move and clear up those sight lines.
Plenty of arm, as you said, and that's what, and there it is right there. Yeah. Exactly what we're talking about. When everything gets obscured right in his face with size, that's where it's going to be a bit more of a struggle for him.
Austin Edwards from Ferris State left his feet and knocked that ball down. Spoke to Fine before the game. Not surprisingly, he said he grew up watching Russell Wilson, watching Drew Brees, wants to model his game after those guys.
Yeah, Gaziano was in there as well, and he ended up beating the guard from TCU again, Cordell Awagwu. I think Gaziano's a tough kid.
He's had a great day.
Heavy hands, able to get through and impose his will in the backfield.
Called his name a lot. Here's Fine on 3rd and 12. Steps up in the pocket. Moves to the right. Fine is going to slide wisely, not take that hit, and they're going to have to punt.
I want to see Alex Highsmith coming off the edge here. He hits a little spin move from UNC Charlotte, and Fine has a nice feel for it just to get out of there, try and create something positive. He's coming off the edge here. Hightower was very productive, 14 sacks for UNC Charlotte. A little outside spin, gets up the field. He feels it, climbs underneath, tries to buy a little time to find something down the field, and then just get what you can get.
Yeah, I thought Throckmorton did a pretty nice job there on the spin move. Even though he got close, able to readjust and push him all the way past.
It was Isaiah Swan, the Dartmouth corner, that was up there. This is Alex Petchin from Bucknell, and Freddie Swain from Florida will field that on the 10. So Mason Fine gets a first down, then they have to punt, and now the East is getting the ball back 17-10 on a fun day here, 3rd quarter in St. Petersburg. As a human, football season keeps on rolling when the confetti comes down in Miami. The first collective look at the future stars of this league. Over 300 of the nation's top college prospects descend on Indianapolis, showcase their talent and their passion in an intense 4-day job interview. It is the 2020 NFL Scouting Combine. Exclusive coverage right here on NFL Network begins February 27th. Many of these players on this field have already gotten that invite. It's part of your triple crown, Daniel Jeremiah.
Yeah, really the triple crown of scouting. You get 3 opportunities. You get all-star games, you get the combine, you get the pro day. Charles, we kind of buried the lead, though. We're going primetime this year, man.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. The big drills moving under the lights. Well, they're indoors at Lucas Oil, but to prime time on NFL Network on your TV schedule. The College All-Star Games, the NFLPA Bowl, the Collegiate Bowl later today, Reese's Senior Bowl next week, and then there's the Combine there February 23rd to March 1st.
You got a question, Mr. Davis?
Yeah, I think there's only a few entities that'll be upset about moving to prime time. You know what they are? The restaurants that we destroy in the evenings when we're usually at the Combine, right? Yeah. We are going to be working during that time now.
Invest heavily in those services where they deliver.
Yes.
I won't mention any names of those sponsors.
Please, where they deliver.
The network, but there's a few out there.
Our favorite Indianapolis steakhouses. Here's hoping that they deliver. Tommy Stevens on the run, spin it away from a sack, and thrown it to Mitchell Wilcox from South Florida, playing here at home. And that's near the line of scrimmage.
Got a little pressure there coming off the edge. That was Tuska coming inside, little inside move, working against the Alabama tackle Womack, forcing him outside. It was a nice rush and nice escape and a nice throw.
And a nice catch, too, by Wilcox, because he knew inside. Watch, he knew coming from the inside. Here comes the big hit. And he was not disappointed. That was Tizzino.
It's gain of 6 sets
Tizzino.
Sorry
about that.
No, that's all me. Benny LeMay on 3rd and 1 lowers his head and pushes and gets some room and gets near the 25 for the first.
I like this young man, Benny LeMay, running back from Charlotte. I watched him on tape. And what struck me most, yes, we see the power, right? We see how he's built, so you would expect that. Patience in running the football and then exploding. But the big deal to me is what we haven't seen so far is the hands and the ability to catch the football downfield.
I think he had 4 touchdowns through the air this year.
He would run seam routes coming out of the backfield and catch it over his shoulder. I think he's got very nice hands.
You know who you don't see in this picture is the free safety, because this is the Greg Williams defense, and he's in the parking lot right now.
Tommy Stevens lets it go, and that free safety gets the pick. You called it. It's picked off by Luther Kirk from Illinois State.
And that's why he does it. That's that defense. We had a chance to visit with his son, Blake Williams, who's working with the defense. And he plays so deep because you don't even really have to backpedal. You can take direct angles. Go get the football.
You go get the football and you deal out big hits on those crossing routes.
Luther Kirk with the pick, and the West takes the ball back.
It's more.
There's Luther Kirk, Illinois State, with an interception, one that Daniel Jeremiah saw coming all the way.
Well, they put him so deep. You can see how.
There's the line of scrimmage, and there's Luther Kirk.
Yeah, I said the parking lot. He might have been outside the parking lot, but that's that Greg Williams defense. Blake Williams running the defense here in this game. He wants him deep so he can see it, take great angles. You mentioned for some big hits, Charles, as well as be able to make plays on the football.
And look at the pressure by Tuska again, getting inside on Womack. And Stevens gets affected on the throw as well. So that was complimentary, right? How many times do you hear guys talk about the front has to help the back has to help the front in the defense? Tuska helped, and Kirk paid it off.
We were joking with his defensive coordinator, Blake Williams, son of Greg, Jets assistant, who actually called the defense when Greg took over the Browns a couple of years ago, the second half of the season. And we joked, you're going to blitz, right? I mean, Dad's at home.
I don't know if he'll be welcome back home if he doesn't do it at least once.
You're not allowed to blitz for those at home.
And if it does happen, it's not a blitz. It's called straight-ahead pursuit.
Mason Fine, 2 for 3 on his opening drive. The North Texas quarterback back in there and changing the play maybe. Yelled kill from the 46. Opening on the east side of the field. Nice cut. That's Corbin from Illinois who Illinois who stays on his feet.
You notice, guys, again, no fullback in this game, right? No legitimate fullback out of the runners. So both teams utilizing the tight ends as the lead guys, and those guys need to get used to that because a lot of teams in the NFL still don't have a fullback, but if they want to run those types of plays, they will take their tight ends who can block and move them into the backfield and become the lead guys.
Charles, why don't you highlight Nick Westbrook for us here from Indiana, number 15. See him down here on the bottom. He had a real solid week of practice and hasn't really got any opportunities yet in this ball game.
Still recovering from that Gator Bowl against Tennessee. So
that's a big win for you guys.
Oh, teamwork on the Telestrator YouTube, plus the co-host jab. And there is Nick Westbrook, where we honor Rhett Lewis with Nick Westbrook getting a catch.
He is one of my smooth operators, guys. I talk about guys just they're easy movers. John Hightower from Boise, we've talked about him. Westbrook, again, a fantastic route runner. Parnell Motley doesn't have that premier deep speed as a corner there at Oklahoma, but very fluid. Same for Chris Williamson there from Minnesota. So I'd say smooth operators, just easy movers is how you'd write on your paper when you're watching these guys.
Somewhere Charday wants some royalties on this thing.
From coast to coast, LA to Chicago.
I would have thrown a 15-yard flag if you did not make a Sunday right.
But I come back to Westbrook, though. That young man was off to a really nice start at Indiana. First play of his, sophomore year? Tears his ACL on the opening kickoff and has been battling back since then. Give him a ton of credit.
Absolutely. That was against Ohio State, ready to put on a show. All eyes on it, and he blew his knee out on that opening kickoff.
I watched him this year work against Jeffrey Okudah from Ohio State, who's going to be a top five pick. He's the best corner in the draft, and he held his own. He got him on a slant. It was a good battle back and forth. He was able to get off the line of scrimmage, which a lot of people just simply don't do against Okudah. So that was a fun one to watch. And I love guys that have different sports backgrounds. And visiting with him, he was a phenomenal lacrosse player coming up in high school, which you're starting to see more and more, by the way.
And what is the goal in lacrosse? To evade, to dodge.
I thought it was just to hit people with your stick. That's not the goal?
Well, it's called a cross, DJ.
I used to have a friend who said, you don't play those kind of games where the other guy's got a shillelagh.
Oh, flea flicker. Fine, lets it go, and it is caught for the touchdown. Oh, my, Benjamin Victor.
That was an interception that he stole.
He intercepted a touchdown.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
An interception touchdown. Wow.
Well, you can look at my notes here, Charles. Long strider, elevate.
Yes.
And he went to the top floor on that one.
Because that was a pick waiting to happen, but the defensive back, I want to see it again when we have a chance. I think he was back on his heels and wasn't coming back to the football. And that's where the problem became. Is that Shy Carter back there?
Yes,
from Alabama? Remember, we had one taken from him earlier. Is this a second one? It is. There's an opportunity, and Victor comes and takes it. Second time that Carter's been victimized on a touchdown pass.
How about Benjamin Victor, who skied high for that one? He had 18 touchdowns as a Buckeye, and here's another one. We're tied. We have a tie game, all kinds of offense, 17-17 here, the East and the West at the Shrine Bowl here in St. Petersburg. This is more than a game, however. Kimberly Jones down on the field.
It is indeed, Andrew. I'm here with Madeline and Christian, and we are going to talk to both of these fine young people, both national patient ambassadors for the Shriners Hospital for Children. Both have benefited from the care there. And Christian, I'm going to start with you because you had a fun jersey swap with a player in this game. You're a BYU student. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I got to present Austin Lee with his jersey, and that was just an incredible experience getting to go to the football, the
practice or facility?
The facility, thank you. The facility, and got to meet all the team, and got to, they gave me some jerseys and a couple shirts, and that was such a cool experience getting to meet all of them and have fun with them.
And they gave you a jersey signifying that you'd be coming to this game too, right? How special is it to be here?
Oh, it's incredible. It's just even more of a blessing to be able to go to all these events, and it's just one more thing that Shriners has done for me in my life, and it's just a blessing.
Thank you so much. And when we talk to you, Madeline, you like to inspire people with your YouTube videos, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so growing up, I never had a role model who was missing an arm just like me, so I decided to create videos on how I do different things with one arm to hopefully inspire the next generation of kids.
And you're underselling this young lady because you don't just do things. You're a competitive swimmer, co-ed water polo, right?
Yes.
How does that go? I've never played water polo in my life. How's that?
It was amazing in high school, and my coaches were super awesome, and I was able to adapt to my environment and succeed against able-bodied athletes.
What's the most important part about being a national patient ambassador?
Just the ability to say thank you to so many Shriners who make this possible, and also they've given me the confidence that I have today, and I'm forever grateful for that.
I think confidence is a big part of this, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for Shriners Hospitals for Children.
That's great. And Christian, you feel the same way?
Yes. Before Shriners, so I've only been a patient about 7 years, and before Shriners, I didn't get any care from the doctors that I saw. They would diagnose me with the things I already knew that I had, but they didn't know how to improve the quality of my life. And because of Shriners, I'm able to be independent and confident and the person that I want to be.
That's awesome. You guys are terrific. I admire both of you so much. Andrew, this is why we're here, right?
It is. Kim, this is my 6th year here at the East-West Shrine Bowl. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing how they can help so many families. And Christian and Madeline there, a huge part of it. (17-17), the East and the West tied here as we see the West and their head coach, the Falcons assistant, Ben Steele, and the West is now going to call timeout with 5:21 to go. A big part of this as well, guys, and you hear it from not just Madeline and Christian, but from the players, the hospital visit. This is on Sunday when the players can sit down and interact and hear the stories from these kids, from these patients, and it's moving on both sides.
The crazy thing is they go there with the intention that they're going to go there and encourage and make the day for these young kids, and what happens is the exact opposite as well. I mean, those kids light up these players, and these players leave the hospital totally changed and have a different outlook on life just because of how happy and joyful, energetic these kids are that haven't been dealt the best lot in life. But the Shriners do a wonderful job with them, Charles.
It's absolutely fantastic each and every time. And, you know, if we ever forget about the inspiration every time you come here, you get a heck of a reminder, and it primes the pump again. And the best part, a lot of these kids, they don't see it as a real, whatever's going on is not an issue for them. That's your problem, right? They just keep going and keep cranking.
Exactly. And those two young people, Christian and Madeline, perfect examples. While Kim was talking to those two, we had a deep ball dropped by Isaiah right down the sideline. Granted, there was offensive pass interference, but Tommy Stevens dropped it in the bucket as the East tries to get something going here after the West tied it up at 17.
It was Raekwon Williams, Daniel, and he was a guy who was really highly regarded going to the 2018 season. They had a rough year at Michigan State, came back for 2019. Extra motivation there. He ended up losing a brother in a shooting, and wanted to drop out of school. His mom said, let it motivate you a little bit more, and that's why he came back to play.
For his brother Corey and Raekwon Williams out there making plays, and Tommy Stevens with a pump fake here, trying to pick up 19 yards, scrambling, but he's not going to be able to do it.
I'm a big fan of the electronic markers, by the way.
Huge.
How great is that?
Huge.
I think fans looking at that are like, okay, when are we going to get all that into the NFL, right?
Yeah,
the laser for first down. We've noticed here the video today on the sidelines, when they're showing video on the sidelines, which you can't do in the NFL. Still has to be still pictures, but they're starting to experiment with that. So one of the things about these bowl games, you get a chance to test out some of the new technology as well.
This is Florida's Tommy Townsend on to punt. Brother of Johnny, former Raiders punter. There's JJ, and that is not dynamite. Jonathan Johnson put it on the ground, but he fell on it. So they'll keep it. Good game today. 17-17. West getting the football back. 4:03 remaining here in the third.
If your child...
4:03 to go here, third quarter. The East and the West tied at 17.
There's a joke to be made there,
Make
Andrew,
the joke if you want to, Daniel Jeremiah. I'm not going to joke about how you called this. Luther Kirk from Illinois State.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
He did not call it.
I said he was in the parking lot.
He said he was in the parking lot.
He was parking the car, and he was going to go pick up the ball.
The implication was that he was in the parking lot, and he wasn't getting there. And you're giving him credit like he came
This is teamwork, Charles Davis, and it led to the Benjamin Victor 36-yard touchdown from Mason Fine off the flea flicker.
Did he say real quick? Speaking of cars, you want to tell on me?
Benjamin Victor?
You want to tell on me?
No.
For Victor Benjamin, what?
No.
The car, Andrew.
The car?
Oh, when we came to our meeting yesterday, and you thought you'd lost your keys, but you actually left them in the car
3 hours.
and the car running for the next 3 hours of our meeting.
Here's Tyler Huntley running. The Utah quarterback is back in the game. He gets across the 40. Michael Divinity out of LSU, who opened the national championship game Monday with a sack, and Trevor Lawrence gets him out of bounds.
Luckily, the car idled quietly. Otherwise, when we came back, that car would be in another county.
I'll tell you what. Well, that's why you got to be selective with your rental cars. Don't pick an attractive one.
You know what you were getting.
Well, you did say that you thought you lost the keys on the field. I don't know that we would have found them on the field. I'm glad you found them in the car.
The best part, there was still gas. Made it back to the hotel. We were good.
The hand to Corbin from Illinois. That's James Robinson.
And the car was cool. You had the AC working.
The AC cranks. That was Kendall Coleman making the play there.
Nice day.
I don't just say that to get you guys off my back for leaving the car running.
No, you say it because you want to give Syracuse some love, and I thank you for that.
No problem.
Okay.
Scott Hansen, by the way, went to Syracuse.
He did. Yes, I've heard. Yes, we
Kendall
both
Coleman.
did.
He's got 14 sacks over the last 2 years. I talked about that dip move he's used.
Yeah.
He uses that quickness, though, against the run. He's very effective, just kind of slipping blocks.
You know, they said about him this week that he was a guy who got better throughout the week, Kendall Coleman, and he's played well today. I mean, I still go back to, we're seeing the big plays in the backfield. That play he made on the reverse against Hightower, where he stayed with it, turned it inside, and even though he made the tackle downfield, it could have been a much bigger play without him.
Kendall Coleman won the Coach Mack Award after Dick McPherson at Syracuse for intensity and dedication. And yes, it is McPherson, not McPherson. Remember, there's no fear in McPherson.
And he would let you know that, too, Coach Mack.
He would. The late, great Coach Mack. Jonathan Johnson with that one from Missouri. And here's
Coleman working against, I believe that's the USC tackle. Drew Richmond, another one who transferred from Tennessee. But Coleman, he falls in the DPR category. When you're in the draft room, we'll have a column, designated pass rushers, DPRs. Alex Highsmith from Charlotte, Kendall Coleman from Syracuse, Michael Dana from Michigan. Those guys, they're going to get on the field on third down. You don't necessarily need them to play on early downs. They're going to make their money getting upfield.
And a timeout taken here. And
why do you guys keep leaving Tennessee, Charles?
Well, we're getting better players in there.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Listen.
How'd that work out for you?
Hold on. App State has a nice season, and all of a sudden, you're taking
nice
shots.
We've had a nice 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a good run. I got to give them that.
Right, but you're taking shots at Rich, where App State and Michigan finish in the final standings.
Technically not taking shots at Rich, just pointing out that we're neighbors. He's ranked one spot ahead of us in the final top 20.
Hey, I was there when App State beat Michigan. I was there that day.
All right, coming up, it's a doubleheader today. Not just this game, but the Collegiate Bowl as well at the Rose Bowl. It's the second half of our All-Star doubleheader with Rhett Lewis and Bucky Brooks and former Giants executive Mark Ross, Omar Ruiz down to the sideline. That is at 7 only tonight on NFL Network. Huntley has it just shy of midfield here. The Florida native, the Utah quarterback, throws complete to John Hightower, who has a first down. And Hightower is tackled by Rodney Coleman, or Clemens, I beg your pardon, from SMU.
Another double slant here. We saw this earlier in the game, Charles. This ball right where it needs to be, a little RPO. Put it right on him. And that's Hightower showing you now he can play outside, he can play inside. They flip him the ball on a reverse. He dropped the punt. Probably like to have that one back, but he's returned to kickoff. So
well, I have to
the whole skill set there.
I do have a confession about the drop punts today.
What do you got?
Because I think I might have had a hand in those.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, in pregame, all right.
I'm anxious to hear this theory.
Okay, so in pregame, they're out there catching punts, right? So Anthony Blevins, the special teams coach, I've known Coach Blevins for a while. So I was out there joking with the kids and getting them loose, and I was betting them that they wouldn't catch the next punt. And I heard you didn't have any hands, Hightower, and Jonathan Johnson. I heard that there's no way you're going to catch. And Blevins is looking at me like, really? This is how you're getting me ready to go? And Johnson's dropped one and Hightower's dropped one. So I apologize to them. I will not joke like that anymore.
There's James Robinson with some room, and the Illinois State running back on 2nd and 5 gets to the next level for a first.
That's what James Robinson does, and where did he get the help?
Watch the fullback. Watch the tight end playing fullback.
Parker Houston.
That made that whole thing go. Nice kick
job
out.
by Hilbers as well, the left tackle from the University of Washington. He sealed it inside. Somewhere you could hear Vince Lombardi. You get a seal here, and you get a seal here, and you run the play right in the alley, and a nice straight arm to finish it at the end.
A gain of 17. Parnell Motley from Oklahoma over to make the tackle. Now Huntley on the play fake. Huntley is going to run, directing traffic, gets a block, and gets out of bounds near the 10.
Who did he put that play fake on?
That was on Cam Gill.
Cam
Gill stopped from Wagner. You're going to see him 92. He froze him.
That was like a crossover dribble in basketball.
I was going to say freeze tag. You remember freeze tag?
Oh, yeah, I remember freeze tag.
Watch him right here. Freeze! Oh. There you go.
And off he goes.
Where'd he go? Where'd who go?
Way to go Top Gun on it there.
Well, it's coming back. Gain of 7 there for Tyler Huntley. And after 3, we're tied at 17.
Declutter, put away.
17-17 start of the fourth quarter. The West is in the red zone and trying to take the lead here. Daniel Jeremiah, Andrew Siciliano, Charles Davis, Kimberly Jones, and this guy right here, Alex Cavacugan from outside Chicago. He's been a Shriners patient and the patient ambassador for years now. It is like a tradition here, Alec, to have you up here in the booth. It is great to see you, sir.
Yes, sir. It's always great seeing you guys. Thank you guys so much.
So how you doing, and how has this week gone for you?
Oh, this week has been absolutely incredible. I'm so thankful for Shriners Hospitals for Children for inviting me back here for my 3rd year. It's been an awesome week hanging out with the guys. This has been a great game, and I'm just so thankful. I'm sad tomorrow I go back to Chicago.
It's going to be a little bit cold in Chicago when you get back there.
It's snowing. My friends are sending me Snapchats, they're tweeting me. Yeah, it's cold right now.
Well, we're enjoying the 80-degree weather here, certainly. We're also enjoying this game where we have Tyler Huntley here, the Utah quarterback with his West team on the 10-yard line. Alec is an aspiring journalist, aspiring sportscaster. We want to congratulate you. You're starting at Northwestern coming up in the fall, the Medill School of Journalism.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited. I found out last month when I did early decision, and I just now started telling people about where I'm going to college. And Northwestern, it's my dream school. I've been dreaming of this opportunity since I was young, and I'm ready.
That is fantastic. You got to say hello to Coach Fitzgerald when you get over there and
Absolutely.
Get plugged in on the football side of things. You want to be a journalist, you've got a great football program with a great coach, and what a great training ground for you.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited. I have a great relationship with the athletic director, Jim Phillips, over there, and I'm excited.
So you've done the NBA on TNT. You've had a podcast. You called to play with us. Actually, you want to call this play? It's 3rd and 2.
We're in the red zone.
Yeah, here we go.
I can't see the ball.
So Tyler Huntley was the quarterback there.
Play here.
I told you to do it on like 1 second notice. And Tony Jones ran into the middle of the line, and now it is going to be 4th down. But what do you want to do, Alec? That's the question here. As you open up that career at Northwestern, you still want to do something in sports, right?
Absolutely. I want to be a sports broadcaster. I'd love to continue to be on TV and just talk about sports. Maybe one day in the future have my own show. I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think about hosting the Red Zone?
I don't want to take Andrew's job.
I mean, you know what, Alec? I'm getting old. All right, so by the time you get out of school, I would recommend, as we see the 26-yard field goal here, I'd ask politely, could you use all 5 years of your eligibility so that I can have 5 more? And then I would be happy to step aside, and it would be all you.
I don't know. We'll see. I got to talk to the NFL Network. We'll see.
We haven't asked you this over the years because being in Chicago, does that make you a Bears fan then?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the team right now?
You know, I was riding that wave of last year's team, going to the playoffs. I was actually at the double joint game with Roger Goodell. It's a pretty bad time. It was a fun time with Roger, but, it was a bad outcome with, Parkey. But this year, I've been riding the highs and I've been sad during the lows. It sucks missing the playoffs. It does. I forgot the feeling. But the team is bright. We just signed Eddie Jackson to a long-time extension. Yeah. We still got Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks, so that defense is going to be solid. We just need our offense to come back.
Almost had a pick there. Akeem Hicks actually played in this game when he was a college player in Canada, came down here to the East-West Shrine Bowl, and then he turned that into a great career with the Bears. Has anyone stood out to you as you've watched practices here? Do you have a favorite player of the week at this year's game?
I've been talking a lot with Michael Divinity Jr. from LSU. He's a great guy. We were fooling around a lot. We were talking about the national championship a little bit. Some of the Miami linebackers, too, some of his teammates I've been fooling around with. But Benjamin Victor, earlier in the game, he made a great catch. And I've been waiting to watch him all week.
I want to ask you a quarterback question. I'm going to have you put your scouting hat on for a minute now. So we're going to be talking a lot about Joe Burrow, obviously at LSU, and then Tua Tagovailoa, who had the injury. Assuming they're both healthy, Alec, who do you like?
Oh, I'm going Burrow.
Okay. Give me your reasoning. What we got?
The stats and the defenses that he played, the stats that he got this season and the defenses that he played against this season proved to me that he's NFL ready today.
It's good now. It's good scouting right there.
I'd ask you who you want the Bears to take in the first round, but
we don't have a first round.
Sorry about that. See, that's good teamwork right there. I set you up, and Alec, you finished the thought as we have it in completion on 3rd and 5. And Townsend is now.
That's the type of quick wit you need if you're going to host the red zone. That's what you need.
I'm okay with Khalil Mack though. We traded
I think Khalil Mack's great.
Khalil Mack. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with Khalil Mack.
Don't get me wrong. Alec
Trubisky, thumbs up or thumbs down?
He's a good guy. Thumbs up. He's a good guy.
Okay, that's thumbs up. There we go.
Tell us where people can find you on Twitter, on Instagram, podcast. I know you were doing that last year.
Yes, sir. My Instagram is Aleco, ALE, 3 C's and 1 O. And my Twitter is AlecKabakungan4. So if you guys want to follow me there, I'd very much appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Alec, see you, man. Our patient ambassador here for Shriners. It is great to have you here. see you next year.
Absolutely.
Good luck at Northwestern.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
2017 here in St. Petersburg. The Utah quarterback, the Florida native, just led his West team to a field goal to take the lead 20-17. He has been nice enough today in a Florida homecoming to be wired. Take a listen.
You feeling all right?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm looking forward to you being really accurate, because I tell everybody how accurate, right? Scouts in the league for 30 years. So
yes, sir.
You keep up the good work.
What is it?
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Good job!
Let's go. Hey, come on.
Tyler Huntley used his legs, 5 carries, 35 yards. He's thrown the ball well, 6 of 8. And his West has a lead now over these. Got to be cool for him to finally play a game in Florida after heading west. Has 50 members of his family, including mom, here today.
Very cool. It's been a good day for him. I'd like to go back and watch his high school team with him and Zach Moss, his teammate at Utah, also a high school teammate. I can imagine what they were doing to high school defenses back in the day.
A lot of coordinators quit. Those DCs are like, you know, this really isn't for me. Got my insurance license, hanging out a shingle.
What do you think, guys, of what you've seen today from Tyler Huntley, as now we have Kelly Bryant on the field? There are a lot of quarterbacks. This is a deep class this year.
Yeah, I think he's a late round pick, you know, potentially a priority free agent, but he's got a chance to make a team. And what he can do athletically to complement, you know, your offense and some of the zone read stuff we're seeing now more and more in the league, Charles, I think he's got a shot.
Oh, he put it on the floor. Benjamin Victor, who caught that touchdown before, caught this from Bryant, had it in his hands, and he dropped it.
It looked like Motley was on the coverage there from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Let's see if he's going to get a little credit for helping break it up.
Sure,
yes, he does. He gets a lot of credit for that. Remember, he had 5 forced fumbles during the regular season. So when he's on the spot, he makes plays on the football. That's another nice one there by Parnell Motley, who was headed to Maryland.
Yep.
Where they had a coaching change, and the guy that he thought was going to end up getting job did not. Now he has it in Mike Loxley, but he ended up at Oklahoma instead.
Talking to the coaches there, they said he went up against CeeDee Lamb every day in practice. Ultra competitive.
On 3rd and 11, Bryant avoids the sack. He checks it down, and they're almost going to get it, but Bellamy's going to be short, about 3 yards short, as he gets it out to the 30-yard line. But he escaped.
He's wrapped up and still found a way to get that out.
Showed a little strength there, didn't he? Being able to absorb the hit from Highsmith on the top there. Couldn't identify who that was underneath, but nice job by Kelly Bryant.
Alex Highsmith, the Charlotte defensive end, second to only Ohio State's Chase Young for sacks this year at FBS.
I want to see a return here, guys. We've had a couple muffs. We've had fair catches. I
didn't say anything to him.
Mason Kinsey.
Okay. You didn't jinx Kinsey?
No, we had a nice conversation earlier this week about his journey to get to Berry College.
Let's go, Mason Kinsey. From the 22. Kinsey to the 30. Kinsey, can he get around the corner? Kinsey out of bounds just near midfield. There you go.
That's what we were talking about.
You know, I asked him, I said, what's the difference that you're finding so far from Berry to here? And most people say speed. He said, really, the patience of defenders. They actually stay with their technique longer. But this young man can
He's
play.
very good. He's very, very good.
Well
I see
done,
what you did there.
It's always a 3-day weekend.
You earlier and showed you Will Shields going into the East-West Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame. The same honor this year for Dan Pastorini, the quarterback who was here in 1971. First-round pick of the old Houston Oilers out of Santa Clara. And here he is down on the field with Kim Jones.
Thanks so much, Andrew. We told you we were playing your highlights, Dan. You said that's when I could run.
If it was the highlights of the East-West game, that was the only time I could run.
What do you remember from that game in 1971?
Well, it was exciting for me because I went to a small college and, we didn't play real big competition. So it was a time for me to get the opportunity to play with the big college guys. I was fortunate to be selected captain, made most valuable player. And then that just vaulted my stock in the NFL, I think. And then playing in the Senior Bowl helped too. So it's a good opportunity for a lot of these guys to show what they've got. And when you get the opportunity, you take advantage of it, and your dreams come true.
That draft was Jim Plunkett, Archie Manning, and Dan Pastorini.
Yeah.
So this game vaulted you into that spot, you believe?
It did. Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, it just gave me the opportunity to play with the bigger competition. And we've got an exciting game here. They just scored. The East has scored.
We got Dan Pastorini doing play-by-play, fellas.
Well
you know,
done.
the honor of being into the Shrine Game Hall of Fame, the Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame, means what to you? They do so many good things.
Well, being a part of the game is only the small part of it. It was getting the opportunity to play and all that. But the biggest thrill was going to see the kids in the hospital and spending time with them. It really gave me a lesson on what is important in life, and you know, the more we can give back and help kids is something special. I do a lot of charity work. I'm with Be an Angel right now, and we help profoundly deaf kids and multiple handicapped families, and very proud to be involved with them.
Yeah, and you told me earlier that really was a springboard for you, the Shrine Game, into doing some of those good works.
Exactly.
You know, before I let you go, I know that was just another touchdown, but
Yeah.
James Morgan caught your eye earlier. You like the quarterback from Florida International.
He did, you know, and I was just watching the way he threw and the way he stood in the pocket. He throws a good ball. He's a big kid. Going to those small colleges is a good opportunity for him.
You know that story a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more of that kid.
Dan, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Kim.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it
Thank you,
very
Andrew.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Dan, and thank you, Malcolm Perry, the Navy quarterback. He said that he might get a shot to run the option. He did, and he went 52 yards for a touchdown.
Harding from Illinois had a look at him, and then he was gone, Charles. He went right by him, and that's something he did an awful lot for the Navy midshipmen. Over 2,000 rushing yards. You can see the instincts right there. Was a slot back, was a quarterback, playing receiver this week, but it comes down to just put the ball in his hands.
And there are going to be a lot of Keenan Reynolds comparisons. Watch Wolf, number 47 from Georgia. Little arc block and gets upfield and gets on the safety from SMU, Nelson, and helps create that running lane. But plenty of similarities between Perry, Keenan Reynolds coming out as a quarterback, having to transition to wide receiver.
I think he's got more juice than Keenan Reynolds.
Than Reynolds.
I do.
And what's interesting to me about it, both of them from the Nashville area. I mean, their stories are so similar, and parents are both Army.
How about that?
I mean, Malcolm Perry ends up at the Naval Academy, both parents Army. So you just get all those things that go into it. So you think he's got a little bit more juice than Keenan Reynolds?
I like him better as a prospect, too. I think he's got a little more pop.
Because Keenan's been able to, practice squad here, make a roster there for a short time. This gives him an opportunity.
His parents, Malcolm and Bonnie, both Army. He's Navy. Future as a Marine, and he just had a 52-yard touchdown, which is 1 yard shy of the longest touchdown run in East-West history. Glenn Lippman from Texas A&M in 1952.
It's Coleman on the tackle there from Syracuse, continues to add to his total.
With a flag on the play, as we see Malcolm Perry. Said that he had to learn a lot this week, learned how to play wide receiver, and got some help from Antoine Randall, who made the transition from quarterback to slot guy to wide receiver in the NFL, about getting off jams and learning to be physical. But you see, when he's in the open field, not many people are going to get him.
If Antoine Randall came out of school now, I don't think he switches to wide receiver. He plays quarterback.
Right. He was a fun player to
watch.
watch.
Oh, my God.
Indiana quarterback converted to wide receiver. And then a nice career with the Steelers. Marcus Woods, our referee.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 56, half the distance to the goal. The play will count, third down.
And that is the Texas center, Zach Shackelford, as we see both Malcolm Perry and Elijah Riley from Navy and from Army, respectively, both had good weeks.
And this is going to be interesting now with the new law being what it is. These guys get a chance to go play right away.
Yeah, and that came at the Army-Navy game, where it was announced by the President of the United States to both teams that, hey, you'll have an opportunity if you're considered for the NFL, you'll be able to go in and defer your time that you go back to the academy. So that was a big deal and very well received, as you might imagine, by those players. Remember, Roger Staubach had to serve every bit of his before he went to the Dallas Cowboys. That's 5 years worth off of a career that turned out to be a Hall of Fame career.
2nd and 22, Mason Fine ripped down. That ball comes out But there's a flag. James Smith Williams from NC State got him up around the neck.
And the flags came out. I mean, James Smith, what a play that's going to probably go away for him. One at the pass rush at the line of scrimmage, DJ. One getting into the backfield on the quarterback, but ended up finishing it off the incorrect way and takes it away from him.
Number 91, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Okay, so coming from inside, and they were trying to run a screen. Yeah. So it wasn't as much that the offensive lineman didn't make the play. That's Trevor Wallace-Sims. He was trying to get out to go run for that, and at the end there, you see the left hand get up into the face mask area, and thus draws the penalty.
That was almost like a DDT.
Yeah. That was a takedown.
That's a pro wrestling term, right?
Yeah, Andrew wouldn't get that one.
I don't watch it, but I got it.
You did actually get it. It tells you how much you seeped into the culture.
I mean, I watched as a kid.
But the kid is still in you, Andrew.
Maybe for Star Wars, not for wrestling. There's Reggie Corbin from Illinois, the tackle by a guy whose name we have called a few times today, Rashad Smith. Started as a safety, is now a linebacker at FAU.
They're doing something right down there, DJ, in terms of Boca Raton for these outside linebacker defenders. There's one that will start tomorrow for the San Francisco 49ers that preceded him there, Azeez Al-Shir, who ended up having a knee injury, didn't get drafted, rehabilitated, and became a starter for the 49ers this season.
They've had a lot of talent there. Lane Kiffin did a good job of recruiting, bringing in transfers, and developing the guys that were already there, and now he's off to Ole Miss.
Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach in the same division in the SEC.
I love it.
Oh, you.
I can't wait.
Hey, do you know
everybody?
I can't wait. How'd you like to be the SEC office this year trying to credential for media days?
Oh,
whatever the number record was, is being shattered this year.
James Robinson, the carry there.
I think he's had a nice day.
3rd and 1.
I think James Robinson had a nice day, guys. I know he came in with the reputation first, second down back. That screen that he caught and turned into a big play in the open field. You were right, DJ. Long speed.
That's not his game.
Not his game, but he got every bit out of that one that he could, and he runs with some thump inside the tackles.
Led his team to the FCS quarterfinals this year, and there he is again. Does he have the speed? James Robinson.
I'll show you long speed. What'd you say about his long speed again?
Oh, he's got just enough. Just enough long speed. Oh, there we go. They get the boat going on this side. I love it.
They row the boat after Malcolm Perry did it in the other end zone.
Look at the tight end from San Diego State.
Another nice block.
Fullback.
Wallace
has the key
Sims.
Block.
Did you see Wallace Sims from Missouri at the line of scrimmage? And James Robinson, Shy Carter trying to get there. He needed about 10 more yards. He might have caught him, but a big day for James Robinson.
It's a 63-yard touchdown. He has 126 yards from scrimmage.
He might be thinking trophy right now.
I think he could get a trophy. That is the longest run in East-West Shrine Bowl history, guys, for a touchdown.
Just enough. Like I said the whole time, just enough juice.
You mentioned the blocking look at it, the point of attack. They carved a hole and great vision on the cutback. And then he's getting into gear. Throws his way across the goal line.
Jon Runyan, meet Jon Runyan, the NFL VP and the former Pro Bowler, is watching his son here today, Michigan offensive lineman Jon Runyan, same name, and yes, they're related. And here's Kim Jones.
And Mom is just behind the camera, so this is a Runyan family affair, and I'm just crashing it. You just came off the field, Jon Runyan Jr., and your dad's coaching you up. What's that like?
Yeah, it's awesome to have here as a resource. He's just giving me some instant feedback about what I have to do, play lower, play tighter hands, but it's funny having him here on the sideline and him be able to coach me.
How about for you, Dad, watching him and realizing that you can help your son in his profession, obviously?
Well, it's a little different here because it's a little loose, you know what I mean, where you can't necessarily do it in the college or at the next level, so you can give him some instant feedback, and it's awesome to be down here on the sideline and be able to give it to him.
He's been a tackle like you, but now a transition to guard. Do you imagine that's difficult?
It's probably easier to go inside than it is to actually go outside, but the angles and the timing are a little bit different, so somebody's grown into, but you know, he's bought into the whole process and all that, and he just wants to play this game, and he loves it.
When you do just want to play this game, is it an easy yes when someone asks you to move inside from out?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Any position anybody wants me to play, I'm willing to do it. Tackle, guard, center, left side, right side, doesn't matter for me.
Well, I hear you can snap and long snap too, right? So you can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm just trying to add more tools in my toolbox, and whatever anybody needs me to do, I will.
I know you're coaching him up, but as a parent, there must be a tremendous amount of pride when you watch your son, John.
No, I mean, it's awesome, and it's all about him. It's all about him, you know, doing what he loves to do. Never forced this on him. I only forced him to ever play basketball, and this is something he's loved, and he's doing a great job doing it.
John, I want to ask you about the first 2 drives. Your offense, including the O-line, went right down the field with James Morgan, 2 touchdown drives. How were you guys able to start this game so easily, it seemed?
Yeah, we knew we wanted to start fast, and they wanted to show that we had a pretty good offensive line going into that, and we were moving the ball, and our offensive coordinator was calling some great calls, and we just got into the flow of things, and we were executing, and those first 2 drives were pretty easy.
We wish you good luck in your path, and I'll tell you this, guys, a minute ago there was a little bit of some traffic behind you. I had these 2 next to me. I knew I was protected, Andrew. No worries here. Thanks, guys.
Kim, I think you're fine, and the West could have used maybe Jon Runyan out there blocking. Bryce Huff gets to Kevin Davidson, the Memphis end, and brings him down on 3rd down.
Bryce Huff showing a little get off. He's been getting off the ball really well today, Charles. Just hasn't been able to finish. He's been very close. And that time he got it done, showed you that ability to bend and wrap around the top of his rush after really exploding off the ball. Nicely done.
Characteristic of his team there. I mean, they can run. I mean, those guys are built on speed, and got to the AAC championship, won it this year, and took Penn State to the limit in the bowl game.
And Jonathan Johnson puts it on the ground again, and again he falls on it. Another muff punt near the 36-yard line. Charles, you are just jinxing all these punt returners here. Here's what Jon Runyan did at Michigan, where he was a left tackle, a 2-time All-Big Ten left tackle.
You see right there that one example of what his dad talked about. Get your hands a little bit tighter, something he can improve. But when he reduces inside and plays guard, Charles, I like him when he's got neighbors. He eliminates some of that space. Then he can use the strength, the instincts, the awareness. He's good working up to the 2nd level. That's where his future is.
And there's nothing wrong at all with going inside. And, you know, when you get to hang with, you know, the GOAT, it's not so bad either. You know, you have that Michigan affiliation and get a chance to talk to him a little bit easier than us regular folks. So that's pretty cool. But it's kind of like Iowa with Brandon Sheriff when he came out. Remember, he moved inside. Yep. Has been a Pro Bowl guard in the NFL.
And he's one of my nasty boys here. Just the guys watching the week of practice who are the most physical offensive linemen. It's Darrell Williams from Mississippi State, Jon Runyan, who we've been talking about, then Kevin Dotson, who I believe has a good chance to be the highest player selected from this year's game from Louisiana Lafayette. A big, powerful guard. You guys are all finishers. So you want to move people at the line of scrimmage, these are 3 good options.
I'm glad you were finally able to bring him up, Daniel, because he was a guy we talked about early with Jamarcus Bradley from Louisiana playing well as a receiver. But Dotson is a force.
He's out there playing right guard right now, wearing 75 as Huntley pump fakes. The pocket breaks down, nowhere to go, and he's going to run it across the 40. Nasty boys, and then we had, what was it, Smooth Operators before, DJ. Did you come up with?
You know what era I grew up in.
All of these, listen to 80s R&B at 2 in the morning back home in California looking at tape?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
sure.
That's correct. Just making sure. No, we've got some more lists to go here, pal. You don't know what.
Do you have it just? Do you have it just cool it
now? I should.
You got to work New Edition into it. Gain of 4 there to bring up 3rd and 8. I just want to know if you go back to Jon Runyan.
Have you figured out why my favorite player is Gill? I mean, come on.
Now, did you like New Edition with or without Johnny Gill?
I'm a Johnny Gill
Okay,
guy.
I am as well. Ralph Tresvant, though, nothing against. As Tyler Huntley on 3rd down makes a couple of moves, but Shaq Quarterman eventually popped it. And it's going to be 4th down.
Take a look at this offensive line. The right guards who we've been talking about. Does a nice job pushing him up the field. Dotson does there, and then Quarterman, man, he does not hit the brakes before the collision. I mean, he is accelerating into contact right here, and wow.
Yeah, he'd be perfect in San Francisco playing for Robert Saleh, the defense coordinator, wears one of those rubber bracelets that says all gas, no brakes.
First freshman to start for Miami, a middle linebacker since Dan Morgan back in '98.
Who, by the way, was really good.
Yes, he was. Played all 52 games.
That is insane.
In his career.
We've got one of our North Dakota State guys. When I was looking up his stuff, he's played 59 college football games
and won 4 national titles.
Oh, those FCS playoffs. Yeah. Can I get one thought in on Runyon at the end here? Do you think when John Runyon Jr. is in the NFL next year, that dad would fine him? Because his dad is the NFL VP that does those things, hands out the discipline.
I will say this. Junior will never do anything that Senior hasn't already done.
This is
true. He can't. He just can't.
Senior had a reputation, and now he's handing out the discipline. Freddie Swain there picks it up off of a bounce, and he runs it back. Short return near the 20. NFC Championship game tomorrow in Santa Clara. We had Geronimo Allison from Illinois made some plays in this game back in 2016. Za'Darius Smith made some money in this game. So did Jimmy Garoppolo and Emmanuel Sanders.
And 3 of the top 3 guys got Battlefield promotions. They were so good this week at the East-West, they went on to play in the Senior Bowl the following week.
The Reese's Senior Bowl comes up next week. We are straight on to Mobile after this.
We had one here that didn't play in this game. It's Charlie Heck from North Carolina, left tackle, who is going to the Senior Bowl. He was here practicing earlier this week and got the phone call, and
that's
is
a big
off
dude.
there.
That is a big dude.
Do you know he's one? You know he's a triplet.
Yeah.
2 sisters.
Charlie Heck, son of Andy, the former offensive lineman, pick of the Seahawks, and now coaching with the Chiefs. Jimmy Garoppolo back in 2014 ended up being picked 62nd overall by the Patriots. We know he eventually got moved to the Niners for a 2nd-round pick, one of the best moves they ever made.
Just an efficient quarterback, fits so well in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and you're starting to see the confidence grow throughout the year.
There's Mike Caldwell with his East team back on the field, down 3, 2 timeouts, and 4:25 to go. Going with Tommy Stevens at quarterback, who ran their 2-minute drill at the end of the 2nd quarter and checked it down a lot. Tommy Stevens has Benny LeMay in the backfield, and that is Aaron Parker from Rhode Island. 30 career touchdowns wide to the right. It's going to be a handoff. LeMay right up the middle. LeMay out to the 25-yard line.
I want to watch Glasgow on that one. Did you see him there, Charles?
He was
up at the line of scrimmage. He buzzes out of there and then comes back to get in on the play. Watch him. As soon as it snapped, he's got to get back to the deep half. Playing cover 2 back there, and then immediately, okay, read it, come back downhill, and boom, go get in on a tackle.
You know how excited he was to be able to plant that foot and come back to the line of scrimmage?
That's my home.
This is where I feel comfortable.
Why don't you want to go home?
and when he arrives home, you know he is there.
LeMay rides through the middle of the line, and he picks up a 1st down across the 30 near the 35. Glasgow also had a pass broken up, hit Eli Wolf.
He made
when we were talking to Runyon.
Yeah, he made my all interview team. This is talking to folks around the league that interview all these players all week. I said, give me the guys that were the most impressive you spoke with. And Morgan from FIU, Driscoll, who's an interesting tackle prospect. Glasgow, we've been talking about. James Robinson, put the interviews to go along with the game that he's had, and then Nick Westbrook. That's an important part of this process, getting a chance to be around these guys.
Here's Adrian Killins, maybe the fastest guy on the field, or most fields. Killins, couple of moves. Look at him go. Adrian Killins, far side 50. Stevens, the quarterback, down there to block, and Killins gets tripped up near the 30.
That dude can go. I would have lost money if you told me he was going to get caught. Once he reversed field, I thought he was gone. And it's tough to do this. It's tough to do this at the collegiate level. Then you get on a field with the best college players, and you see how much faster he is than everybody else out there.
And how about Tommy Stevens looking for? Well, he didn't hit anybody, but at least he was out there.
And Keith Washington did a really nice job because there was Runyon out in open field. He evaded him, slid through between Runyon and another teammate, and made the tackle on open field, prevented the touchdown.
It's a gain of 37, and now LeMay back into the game, and there's your guy again. Glasgow up for the initial contact.
LeMay doesn't die easy, as Walter Payton used to say. Don't die easy.
He got out of the first one, but then the rest of the crew was there to show up. But you again see Glasgow's instincts and his strike ability. Just needs to wrap up.
But he's right there. I mean, he's around the football, eager to have that contact and make plays, but he's not just going in there blindly. He's in spots in the right place because of good diagnosis, good keys. Nice play there.
He's a 221-pound, really kind of a tweener. That's why I say dime linebacker, nickel linebacker.
Yeah, no question.
That's going to be his role.
May have to jump himself into just full time, try and be a will somewhere or something like that.
Coming up with a 2-minute warning, Stevens fakes the handoff, now dumps it to LeMay, and he couldn't hang on. 2:11 remaining here in the fourth quarter. The East down 3, but driving with 2 timeouts left.
You've got a couple downs here to get a first down. I wouldn't hate getting the ball in your playmaker's hands again with Killins. Just try and get him in some space and see if he can't pick up a first down here.
If you're wondering at home, or even if you're not, there is no overtime in this game.
Well, there might be, but we won't be broadcasting it.
Jamarcus Bradley from Louisiana had a nice first quarter, bottom of your screen now. In at wide receiver. Stevens steps up, keeps his eyes downfield, and throws to the sideline. And Parker brings it down. Did he get his feet in? He did. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Aaron Parker from Rhode Island.
That is an awesome helmet, by the way. That's a great route, big-time catch, but I can't take my eyes off that lid, Charles. How sweet is that thing?
But he sees it. Keith Washington has his back to the football. And what do they tell you, Daniel, as a quarterback? If that defensive back's running and you see the back of his helmet, what do?
Little back shoulder.
You throw him the football over the top because your receiver will have a much better chance of reacting and making a play on the ball. And that's what Aaron Parker did with that sweet lid from Rhode Island.
The game is 18. It should have taken us to the 2-minute warning. The clock inexplicably stopped at 2:02 and gives time for Benny LeMay to blow people up. Now that's the 2-minute warning. The East in the red zone. Can they steal a win here? 27-24, 1:57 to go here at the Tropicana Field. Ah, that is beautiful. Sun setting here in St. Petersburg. Don't go anywhere after the game. Back to LA. An NFL Total Access postgame live reports from both Kansas City and Santa Clara. LaDainian Tomlinson ranks his top 5 running backs as we head towards Championship Sunday. And then after that, the Collegiate Bowl. It's a doubleheader today. College All-Star games. That one back in LA at the Rose Bowl. Here, we have 1:57 to go. The East down 3 to the West, 27-24. The East with a couple of timeouts, and with Mississippi State's Tommy Stevens at quarterback, 9-yard line. And Benny LeMay from Charlotte is next to him in the backfield. LeMay, strong runner between the tackles, and he goes right into the end zone and gives the East the lead.
Let your big center spike the ball, Darrell Williams, who's been phenomenal all day long.
Smart play by Benny LeMay to do that. And remember his teammate Cameron Clark, who he ran behind a bunch while at Charlotte, who'd been a tackle and moved inside at guard and actually had a good week here before getting injured. He's not playing today, but Benny LeMay used to running those inside runs and running them with aplomb.
Looked like he ran right behind Runyon as well.
It's an 8-play, 82-yard drive, took 2:10 off the clock, and Benny LeMay gets his second touchdown of the day to go along with 65 yards rushing, and then Cooper Roth with the extra point, a very significant extra point that makes it 31-27.
But that blocking you're talking about, watch that left side. Look at Runyon just dominate right up front, and he did that against number 93, Chris Williams, a second player from Wagner. And there's Darrell Williams from Mississippi State. Had a little help with a big grasp of jersey on Olsen. And Michael Owenu, the big mid guard from Michigan. So a lot of beef up front and a lot of drive to move them off the line of scrimmage.
Well, they say coffee's for closers, Charles, and if I'm watching right now and I'm a scout at home, I want to see which one of these pass rushers can try and close out this game. Who's going to be able to get home and try and finish it if you're watching this?
So who do we have out there then? We got Highsmith here.
My money would be on Michigan.
Dana over here, right? Those are the guys on the edges.
And you got Kelly Bryant from Missouri at quarterback, and he's going to hit Hightower with his first throw. That's going to be enough for a first down across the 35-yard line. 2 timeouts remaining for the West. The clock moves We're under 1:40 to go. Bryant. James Robinson with a long touchdown before to give the West the lead. Gets another first down to the 46-yard line.
Wonder if they can get any of that gut pressure in here, Daniel. Turk Wharton, right? Big kid out of Missouri S&T. They were raving about him early in the week, and he's starting to get a little pressure too.
Bryant to Ellefson,
Great
but it
play.
is broken up by Parnell Motley from Oklahoma.
Second time he's done that. Play the hands. You see the hands go up, ball, go punch it out. He's done that twice. 2 PBUs for Motley. See it from off coverage here. Zone, open
Good
up,
job reading.
drive, saw a little burst, and then poke it out.
Good job reading. You notice he had the receiver behind him, but saw the play develop in front of him, just took that one hop step and then drove on the football. He's got some quickness going for the ball with a little force, too, to pop it free.
Let's highlight Arkansas in here, too. See what he can do.
McTelvin, how do you pronounce that? Agim?
Agim. Tony Jones now in the backfield.
There's Gaziano. He just got held.
Jones never turned around. Bryant had to get that ball out.
I want to see Dotson here. This is the guard. Watch him right here. Watch him work. He's working against the best defensive tackle all week and just puts him on lockdown. Rework your hands, slide, redirect. That was easy.
Gaziano, they got away with a hold on Gaziano as he got past. It looked like Awagwo from TCU. He got a little bit of a hold right at the end of it that went undetected.
You're watching the 95th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl. The East on top of the West, 31-27. Daniel Jeremiah, Charles Davis. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Kim Jones on the sideline. This is NFL Network. East up by 4. West a couple of timeouts. Missouri's Kelly Bryant running away to the sideline. Throws. And it's caught. It's caught by Jordan McCray from Oklahoma State.
We just talked about Arkansas and the matchup between Agim working against Dotson. Dotson won the first one. Agim got this one.
And why did he get that one? Because of the get off.
He get off. He was
gone before. It was almost like he knew the snap count and jumped it.
Scouter's delight, though, when you get a chance to see two best players of their positions go at each other.
So this is it. 4th down. 4th down to keep this game alive. They need the 45-yard line.
Bryant has good legs. He might have to use them to get this one going.
Bryant instead throws incomplete to the sideline, and he gets the flag. McCray couldn't catch it, but as soon as he hit the ground, he started calling for the flag.
Is that going to be on McCray, or was that inside somewhere? That flag came from the middle of the field.
Working on Motley here. Oh, that was inside.
I think it was
that
inside.
Might be
offensive, you're thinking?
Might be on Ellefson on an OPI on the tight end there.
Against Miles Dorn from North Carolina.
There's no foul for holding. Result of play is turnover on downs.
Marcus Woods says let him play. And that's a turnover on downs. And the East will take over as Motley celebrates. And the East will be able, with 54 seconds left in the West with only 2 timeouts,
Charles, Miles Dorn.
Sit on it.
Miles Dorn related to Roger Dorn or no?
No, related to Torrin Dorn, former NFL cornerback. But Roger Dorn had a little trouble with those ground balls at third.
You're going major league here, Roger Dorn.
Until Lou told him he didn't care about his contract. Just hit balls at him.
Got a guy on the other line about a set of white walls. Miles Dorn's dad, Torrin, yes. A corner for 7 years in the NFL. His brother, also Torrin, plays basketball at NC State.
And Miles ended up this year, guys, having to play with a lot of youngsters around him. At one point, he's playing with 3 freshmen in the secondary with him. Had to coach those kids up as well as play. And there's Gary Brown, the offensive coordinator.
Saying you blew that one?
Yeah, not getting the call he wanted in his maiden voyage calling plays here.
But Mike Caldwell liked that call, and Mike Caldwell looks like he is going to be a winner. Gary's still chirping. Tommy Stevens goes out there to run this thing out for the East, with Benny LeMay behind him, who has 2 touchdowns on the ground today. They're going to use their timeouts. Yep, we're going to use a timeout. Here's that last play again.
And look inside. It's really Ellefson from North Dakota State working with Dorn right here. That's where the issue is.
I think it was OPI if it was anything.
If anything, it was going to be offensive pass interference. And then they just decided it's kind of like mom with the kids, taking a broom to them and sticking them in the backyard. You two work it out, okay? Just don't break any of my furniture.
Good no call?
Yeah, the good no call. They went at each other. One went off balance, one didn't. Call today.
Don't forget, this is just the first leg of the Triple Crown. We get another couple All-Star games to go here. Then we're going to get to the Combine in prime time, as we've been talking about, and it's going to be fun to watch this receiver group run this year. One of the fastest we've ever seen. And then that'll take us right to the Pro Days. I'll be out on the road hitting a bunch of those and seeing the top quarterbacks and players around the country. 3 big opportunities for these guys to really up their stock, Charles. And I think we've seen some guys this week that have really helped themselves.
When you go out on the road now for these Pro Days, you used to have to do them all as a scout. Yeah. You're doing them as a scout anyway, except you're talking about them on television. Bring back good memories for you?
Well, I recognize some of those hotels.
Here's LeMay, and that will do it. LeMay gets a first down to the plus 40.
It's a hard-running young man, isn't
it? Yes, he is.
He closed it out. It wasn't a 4-minute drill, but these last runs, these last 2 series, did he not close it out like it was a 4-minute drill?
Absolutely.
Outstanding.
Showed good power for a guy his size.
If you're going to go MVP in this game, I might just go that whole offensive line.
Yeah, they were terrific, weren't they?
Fantastic.
And look at Onwenu right there.
Holy cow.
I mean, just took Olsen right on in with him. You know, they often talk about, Andrew, that for a running back to score on short yardage plays, the offensive line has to score first, meaning that they push someone across the line, across the goal line. Onwenu did exactly that.
That's a good
scoring
group.
First before he got in himself.
It's a really good group.
That East offensive line has been winning most of the day. Darrell Williams, the Mississippi State center, one of the most impressive linemen during the week, equally impressive here on game day. And the East is going to be a winner today. Congratulations to head coach Mike Caldwell. Ben Steele, the head coach for the West, his team fought hard too.
Happy birthday to his daughter.
Oh, yes. Sydney. Yes, playing basketball
at Arizona State.
Today's her birthday.
19 years old today.
Congratulations.
And he wanted to make sure he sent a big hello. Hello and happy birthday. He couldn't be there with her.
And a special thanks as well to Tom Reeves, who's been part of this game on the operations side for 25 years. Spent some time at the hospital this week. But Tom, who's meant so much to the East-West Shrine Bowl, back here to see the game today and to see a really entertaining game. 58 points on the board with the East winning this thing 31-27 over the West. It's an East-West record for most total yards as well. This one's been fun. Total Access coming up next, and then after that, the Collegiate Bowl from Pasadena. Daniel Jeremiah, Charles Davis. It has been fun, as always, to work with both of you.
Yeah, right back at you, big man.
We should do it again next week, and fun as well. And a thank you to Kimberly Jones down on the sideline. We had big plays. We had flea flickers. We had great blocking and tackling and running. And you know what? These guys put on a show today. The 95th edition was a great one. 31-27, the East is a winner.